in hand, but that is just going to be Rift Herald secured by Kwangdong Freaks. And Dudu just traded his health bar and flash for it.
Yeah, and you see immediately Dudu's learn about the one-time spike for the Yone got shredded in that extended trade there.
Oh, Bulldog is inside the circle now. The pullback available for clear, and the special delivery. Closer gets another one, and Kwangdong Freaks, they notice it. It's a sacrifice from Duro, but he doesn't even need to go down. That's the pullback, though. And there goes the Sejuani. Andal looking for a little more as he gets a bit of damage onto Henna. So a 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah, BNK4X, I feel like their jungle bot duo just hanging around mid way too long after they lost the Herald. There was no reason to do so. And now losing mid tier 1 for it, a pretty big hit. You see the Yone trade back in the bot side, but I don't think this is a weird trade. Mid tier 1 so influential on the map, and also, he gets the angle.
Oh, very clean drift work there from Cuz. Going to be able to help lock down the outer turret in top lane as well. So all of that was even trade kills, but they grabbed the Herald, they grabbed 2 turrets, and they look to open up this map. Kwangdong Freaks now moving ahead 2,000 gold.
Yeah, we'll see the replay of this. I think what was pretty fantastic was the fact that Closer stacked up the Q, the third stack of knock-up immediately when he came in. Was needed, and the setup was there. But here, BNK4X are hanging around for so long, and it's like for what? You know, the Herald's already gone. We see Ramp tries to dash once the W's come in, but the timing's wrong. Jiro tries to create some space, but the Maokai's still so healthy.
That's able to
chase down Raptor. You can see Henna didn't really do anything in that fight, wasn't really away from him to approach, so bit of a club there from BNK4X. It's punished well by Kwangdong Freaks.
I think BNK might have just thought that Henna was going to stick around, but instead he
kind of saw the red dot,
so he's like, I must go.
KDF.
So then Duro and Raptor kind of had no damage and no follow-up. And weren't able to actually do anything. Don't really blame Henna. He needs to get towards 2 items as quickly as possible. Only an Essence Reaver in his pocket now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like if you're making a play on another side of the map,
that play is winning. To
do something there. Now looking towards Dudu, he is Mega. Not sure anything's going to happen. And I think for BNK4X, we obviously know the impact an Aurora can have, but Closer 3-0 already on this Yasuo is potentially going to be a pretty big threat.
Như là con đục đang chuẩn bị đứng vào playoff hay sao mà thật là lỗi nhiều vậy. Chắc là tâm lý rồi.
I actually think makes the correct decision not to flash there because
slow
did flash and then gets Sejuani ulted. You just die anyway. Saves the summoner for this next fight in 30 seconds if we're looking towards that dragon, if it is going to be a point of contention. But obviously he does get picked and gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah, Clear also able to clear out the way beforehand. Andal comes down, checks in to see whether Raptor is possibly in the area. So they had an inkling that this was happening. Unfortunately, Bulldog just wasn't allowed to walk up there, and he did anyway.
Yeah, but again, I think we see so many situations in Pro where players will be certainly dead and they burn something. I like the decision just to hold on to it now. Setting up for this dragon. Remember, didn't have malignance.
KDF
long way
có
away
cả
from so they go
cớt này.
Yeah, they just want to kill Bulldog again.
Gạt cũng rất đặc biệt né đoạn mạnh. Rất khó chịu Raptor bị kẹt trong đây. Ở kỹ nổ rất đau. Ai hay. Rồi tầm mấy trụ à.
An inner turret in trade for soul point for Chemtech Soul.
Mình cũng bị thằng tín nhỉ.
That flew on through. That could actually get him local gold for this inner turret, which is kind of dope, I guess. And Drake is going to be traded for that inner turret like we were talking about.
Yeah, I think you can see the difference when it is a Chemtech Soul, how much more willing teams are to sacrifice that. But, Bulldog saved his flash, ends up using it in that top play, and does survive. It could have been a much more punishing play if he didn't have that one available. The gold, however, we see Clear and Closer, both of them finishing the second item. Shield Bow for the Yone, and that Malignant for the Aurora. Much needed item spikes because you can tell the Bulldog and Leap are approaching theirs. And this is where the game gets a little bit delicate. Baron is going to be on the map in a minute. Bulldog and Leap are going to be repping their new shiny items. And I think the fights are going to feel a lot more punishing if they go either way.
Yep, I think Closer the one that has been the main benefactor of this game so far. Scoreline, of course, but almost 900 gold the lead for him, just individually. But this is Closer at the same time. Like, this is the guy that makes half the plays for this team in these team fights. They all like to get behind him. He's almost like a veteran now, which is kind of crazy for me to
Ở đây tôi cao về không đông fit anh em ạ. Có cớt của Bulldog nhiều.
And I feel like that's kind of the vibe of BNK FearX, when sometimes we see teams trying to imitate the top squads like Gen G, and they've really lent into their own style. And I think, you know, given how closers like to play the champions, he's been good on. Seeing him on things like Yone and the team working in unison on these engages is just fantastic to see.
Yeah.
Trận này Closer mà không vào liếm được hai chủ lực thì hai AD sát sát thường thì chắc chắn chết rồi.
Throughout the majority of most games. This is exactly the same as what happened in their matchup against DK, and I ain't complaining. It's real fun, but it is somewhat heart-wrenching, you know, like it's nerve-wracking.
It's volatile, and it makes it exciting.
Qua kèo KT chắc em ăn đủ. Kèo KT với Gen Z.
They definitely like to push the limits. They definitely like to challenge. But it means that, you know, when it comes down to these big fights in the late game, they're often trading power in the earlier stages. Often looking for picks, looking for angles, and sometimes
chắc hai đội chắc đã không rồng thôi. Chẳng mấy chắc kiểm soát bao giờ không được đâu.
Bulldog probably gonna go for the reset now, get that mana immune. I've just seen the Vori
Aura trên nhiều. Hay phết. Hôm qua T1 thua. Đỡ được kiểu gì. Cớt. Cớt định bắt lẻ đối phương chăng? Hôm qua Biosic cái tỷ cầm Mokai đánh hay ghê. Quên tôi chưa rồi kịp thời gian của clip rồi. Closer.
And there's still 2 minutes on this dragon. We do not need to be fighting in the bottom side river.
Something I want to note is that Lipa doesn't have cleanse into Sejuani, into Rakan, so even though obviously Ezreal very safe, if something does
connect, tranh trước không để lấy lại thế người. Ui đánh luôn rồi đấy. Bố là băng hà trúng rồi đấy. Bất công biến đến từ cớt. Chưa có gì cả.
Clear can always bounce on over as Lipa.
Clear.
Avoids a lot of the skill shots here as Clear as he makes his way out.
And I believe Andal used the Mikhails there on Cuz Yet's on cooldown. Locket also burnt as well. Dragon isn't up for another minute 40, so they don't have to fight on the back of this, but definitely be cautious about stepping up with those unavailable.
Now as well, Henna's still 30 CS behind or something like that, but we know that Zaya will be able to do a lot of work come later in the game. And we know that the Wombo combos, if he's ever actually able to participate and move forward with the Featherstorm, could be really dangerous.
Cả rồi, tầm này chắc đợi thêm đồ nữa bắt đầu mới giao tranh. Rồi lại hai thằng kiếm Murama kia đầy đủ trang bị là chơi rồi. Vợ sạch sáo phết đây, đùa đâu 250 mấy chỉ số lính thời gian.
Sitting in side lanes permanently. You're going to see he goes back, and that is a BF sword, all but confirming what you were thinking about there with the Infinity Edge coming in.
Hà Nội khả năng 30 giây nữa sẽ giao tranh tỏ con rồng này. Tài ngang sức kìa. Duro bớt máu nhiều quá. Cú bịch sáng. Đây rồi, tiếp tục là con rồng hóa kỹ. Hút rồng chẳng. Chắc chắn Phóc bên Phóc muốn mất con rồng này rồi. Dịch chuyển đến từ Dudu. Quyết định giao tranh rồi. Khá đẹp. Hela. Ui, bùn nó bị cờ liền cầu máu kìa. Giao tranh sao lộ ra rồi làm tí đây. Dù rằng có lượng lộ rất đẹp, lao vào rất nhiều không chế dồn vào nhưng mà lé được rồi. Lipper và Bulldog vẫn sống. Còn 2.000 máu nhưng hạ cũng được clear rồi. Ui, Phóc tan vỡ rồi. Phóc bị quay Dudu ném cạch 3 người lao lên. Ui, hất 3 người quá đẹp. Dudu quả tốc biến hất 3 người quá đẹp luôn. Ui, tan vỡ dành cho Phóc. Tôi bảo rồi mà. Cớt kia này bên này để không áp sát được chết hàng chủ lực nữa, bắn cơ động. Bắt đầu được. Ở đây bà Doan chăng? Trái clip bị chết nhanh quá, clip chọn nó phải xấu quá. Bắt đẹp phết đây nhưng mà các chạy được hết rồi, clear lao vào không còn ai cả, bởi vì Teo đang mải men dòng thì làm được gì. Bị Kama kích tốc lên đuổi hết rồi. 3 người quá đẹp với từ đu đu. Chạy nào nữa. Nó chỉ là một con dòng, bà đọt một con sống. Kèo này chắc cái đĩa bàn trả rồi. Thằng này quốc kỳ Doan giết. Nó này hay sử dụng dưới nhiều. Đọc. Tên là định hướng đọc đấy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, you know, not to specifically hone in on one thing, but Henna on the Zaya not really able to follow up on a lot of these engages. Something like Azeri or Kai'Sa could help a lot.
Đi ăn quả Bồ La Bang Hà dồn tất cả các thứ vào Andy. Andy chắc biết điều này nhưng mà không làm từ được. Mà nó khác quá đâu. Đã ba đầu cứng đến từ vị trí của Bulldog rồi.
Definitely being KFX from the back foot, and their engages need to be super crisp from here on out.
Yeah, we'll see what they're going to be able to do here. 4,000 gold is the deficit. And I don't know how many more excuses I can make for this Zaya pickup. But as you were saying before, certainly leaving us a little bit wanting here as Bulldog turns up towards that bottom side, and he is just firing his way forward, feeling a whole lot more confidence here. 3 items now done, and Closer not with that Infinity Edge yet completed. And I think now as this game sort of turns, a Jack shows would have felt a little bit better.
Yeah, still a while away from finishing the Infinity Edge. I mean, I don't know how much gold he has in pocket, maybe isn't too far, but definitely when you're behind, like if you're ahead and you have the Infinity Edge, feels great, you're just one-shotting people, but if you're behind, you're vulnerable to that one-shot potential, and the items coming through from Quantum Freaks are making them very threatening. 3 items for Bulldog and Leaper, just going to be chunking.
Yeah, that is that Infinity Edge now done. But I think we need something more to come through from Henna, and I think we're going to have to wait until an Infinity Edge comes in before he's going to be able to do anything at all. You can see here, Henna with half the damage of Leaper, and that's being generous. Leaper is really above and beyond what is being capable for BNK.
And you look at the items now, there's a Last Whisper in inventory, so likely finishing LGR or Mortal Reminder. There's a Bounce Scepter, so it was like, oh, you know, I'm getting poked at, I need Sustain. That's going to delay your spikes, and also if you're going to build Infinity Edge next after the LDR.
No, he's got to build a QSS next. So he's got only bits of items.
Yeah, it just feels like he's in such a rough spot in terms of he needs so many items to really feel complete and is far away with them. But also just with how the comp wants to play, you know, with something like a Kai'Sa or a Zeri, when that engage comes in, you're there. You know, it's so easy to follow up on it, whereas the Zaya, not quite as easy to pull off.
Yeah. We can see here as well.
5 until the Elder, so you see Quantum Freak set up around the Baron, sorry, but pressure's going to really start to ramp up in this next minute.
Yep. And I think maybe B&K are kind of okay with the Drake being accelerated here as well. Maybe they can go for a Hail Mary, grab themselves an Elder, and then that's their passageway to victory before Quantum Freaks suffocate them out of too much more of their jungle and the extra gold. See that gold lead is slowly but surely extending. Has moved up by about 1,000 since we mentioned it last time around, as Duro not feeling great about face-checking a lot of this stuff. True Shot Barrage does go wide, though. That's better news. Cuz going to start this one up, though, and clear. He's on the top side dealing with this minion wave, and things are so incredibly dark.
I remember, this is not a Warmog's Rakan, so Duro is very squishy and doesn't have the sustain. He's still low HP now. You see Cuz and Bulldog during this. Leaper and will move over, but it's going so fast. I'm not sure they'll even get there in time.
Yeah, where's the Scryers? Where's the option here as Nature's Grasp is getting
Tiếp này. Ui, pop đến quá muộn. Phải là giao tranh nổ ra rồi. Với rất nhiều sát từ clear. Nhưng mà Closer lao vào, Closer hạ vào Leaper rồi. Nhưng bây giờ Lulu đang kẹt rồi. Bulldog vẫn sống. Cớt lao vào, cớt cứu được Bulldog. Còn Hela ở đây nhưng mà đang rất thấp máu rồi. Lulu đang cố đến cứu đồng đội. Lao vào rất hay đến từ Cướp vẫn sống, ui. Cướp vẫn sống luôn.
Even with a huge ult from Clear, it's not enough to find the team fight win. The goal difference hitting them, but also, as you said, the Zaya not able to make it work. And now a 7,000 gold lead, Baron in pocket, Elder spawning in 10. The Nexus may not be dead right now, but it might as well be.
Quá là dành cho KDF rồi.
Yep, I think they signed the docket. You know, the deed has gone over, and Kwandong Freaks now kind of own both sides of the map. The Baron stolen away beautifully. Cuz now getting to
Ôi, lao vào từ đu solo clear. Còn phá lá khổng lồ, hất vào. Cũng sát thương không? Bị hất tung một phát. Starak hay quá, tốc biến qua cạch. Khá hay đến từ đu. Được một màn của đến từ KDF. Chiến thắng nằm trong tầm tay rồi. Này chỉ có nhà cái quăng game thì mới quăng game này thôi. Chiến thắng 10 cách biệt 10k tiền. Không biết nhà cái nào có đủ sức lực để làm được cái đây. Của Baron 6.300 tiền. Trừ một đèn mới chỉ là một đường Gaga thôi. Chắc là để lốt đến đường trên rồi. Ai yêu tầm mẹ AD của bên quá yêu. Không bắn được. Chắc chắn là những chiếc trụ ngoài cuối cùng đã được bóc đi. Chắc chắn là một đường mega nữa. Không làm gì nữa. Nào lướt lên bắn đến từ Bulldog rất nhiều sát thương. Ui. Có tên nửa định hướng. Ui, lao vào bola băng vào Lipper có đồng hồ băng xương, Lipper đang rất thấp máu ấy. Nhưng Bulldog bị làm xuống rồi, chết rồi, mất 2 chủ lực rồi. Làm gì đây? Đu một mình ra ngoài này. Cớt vẫn là cao vào, còn sát thương không? Vẫn còn sát thương, hạ được Nick clear. Nên học sinh vẫn muốn win đến từ công KDF. Làm được không đây? Không được đâu, bây giờ đang còn closer mà. Còn cả Hela nữa vẫn lao vào, quyết định lao vào đến từ rất xa, lao vào từ closer nhưng con Ripter đang rất yếu. Lao vào đoàn mệnh. Đu bắn khá đau. Đu bắn tay đôi. Đu thoát ra được. Closer liếm được. Closer liếm được cớt rồi nhưng mà Đu bắn vẫn quá sát. Đu bắn xương kìa. Được búp đến từ Andy. Đu hồi quá nhiều máu. Chỉ có mỗi Đu thôi, chiến thắng rồi. Đánh quá hay trong trận đấu này. Con Gala bắn thường với những con quái vật đấy.
I just kill you all. Yeah, confidence with the Dragon Soul being there, and Quantum Freaks, it really feels like they had a good understanding of what they needed to do for the draft to work, mitigating the engages from BNK FearX. So this is kind of a concern, you know, BNK FearX's style has worked so well for them, but they have that style. Yeah. They are diving into, you know that's going to be the game plan, and if you can prepare, you know, picks like the Maokai, great at counter type, the Ezreal, great at disengaging and peeling, you can see it worked pretty well for them, and now BNK FearX losing this game and losing it in such a manner, because, you know, if they win the series 2-1, it's huge for them, but if they lose it 2-0, that might just be them out of playoffs. It might really ruin their chances of making it. You can see Judo, a lot of that damage picked up in the end. But yeah, I mean, the Zaya did 19.3k. We didn't really see it. We didn't really feel it.
I didn't notice it. I don't think it was all that consequential. I think that is the first port of call in this draft. No more Zaya. And this applies to absolutely everyone around the world, League of Legends in general, competitively. Don't pick this champion. It's not that good. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break it down. Then we'll have game number 2. See you there.
khả năng trận này sẽ là 2-0. Cái kèo của Fit này thấp vậy cả. 1.37 nữa ạ. Rất tín đến từ cơn và lao vào choáng 3 người hay không kém với từ Dudu. ba 304 vẫn ra la liếm quẻo vậy, như hoa chó luôn. Bật được con ngang AD tem bạn luôn mà. Đội kia thực sự còn 5 phút thì phải nào.
time, as maybe their eyes got a little too big on that one and focused on that pick, and maybe there were other picks in the draft that could have helped them out in game number 1. B&K Furex take game number 1. Guys, here's the draft.
Yeah, so
What jumps out at
what's
you here,
really
Connie?
cool is that in drafting in League of Legends, you need to make sure to keep it together all the way to the end. And unfortunately, B&K did not do that. Like, I don't like I don't like tunneling on draft too much in games. But if you lock in Kai'Sa there, which, by the way, you're playing into Ezreal, you already know this. Your lane is boom anyway. Like, you're losing lane, right? Realistically, you know the Ezreal Karma is most likely coming, so, like, that's fine. But I would rather lose lane and then have a champion that works extremely well with the amount of backline dive that you have, as opposed to a champion that literally is flashing into people and still can't kill anyone.
I think somewhere along the way, we lost our way. Teams were like, you know, we really want to play Rakan, so we need to have Xayah. But we already figured out that you don't need to do that.
Play Kai'Sa Rakan.
You don't need
That's
to
a really
play
good combo.
Xayah in this composition. You can play Kai'Sa. You can play literally anything else. The Xayah itself is very bad right now, and not just because the stats say so. It just doesn't work, and it doesn't work with this comp either. Everybody's going in, and Xayah's like, well, I got a flash, and I can't do anything. I don't do damage. And on the other side, Quantum Freaks, very awesomely crafted draft, by the way. Fantastic at disengaging. You have the Ezreal, the Corki. You've got Karma for shields. Gnar and Maokai are fantastic frontliners for just pushing everybody away and keeping them safe. And B&K dropped the ball at the end.
I just think that, again, you're sacking your bot lane and you're getting a win in top lane, right? Because the Aurora is insanely strong. But we saw, like, Claire goes in, and I think the response from Kwangdong was really good. I don't want to take away from that win, but it feels like if you have a pick that can actually follow up into the backline dive there, then it's playable. And I think that the Ezreal into Aurora response specifically is something that we did ask for, and I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we highlighted those key picks for Kwangdong Freaks. They got rid of the Nidalee. They got rid of the
Tristana as well.
Tristana, and then they picked away the Rakan. That's all the undefeated champions that Kwangdong Freaks have played, and still weren't able to put it together here. Shows the power from this Kwangdong Freak squad. Here's our first highlight. This is at Seoul. You're thinking, okay, Aurora's coming around the end. This is going to be it.
And then you see, I think Dudu, obviously, as the Costas mentioned, definitely a standout here. But imagine if you have a Kai'Sa that ults into the backline and just kills Ando and Bulldog here. Like, just think about it for a little bit. And guess what? We had like 3 more fights like that in this game, where if your opponent is playing a pure kite back combo, like the re-engage is really good here, again, from Kwangdong. I think our team fighting looked really clean today, and that's the biggest advantage that it would have given over to B&K, even in the best case scenario. Hats off to them. But if you have a pick that can at least counteract that somewhat, instead of just getting engaged on and dying, it would be big. Wasn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, Dudu had a really awesome game today. Like, he's definitely going to be picking up the POG spoiler. I mean, he just perfectly finds the timing to go in. Xayah's like, I've got my Featherstorm, I'm fine, right? Well, the whole team was dead, and he didn't do any damage, and it should have been something else.
Yep, we have one more highlight that shows exactly that. Here at Baron, after taking Soul, very difficult for them to get into the Maokai. Then watch this fight here. Just any other AD carry.
This one just made us angry.
Hurts.
Like, this just hurts. Because you have, again, a B&K that try to get the best out of a bad situation. I just want you to keep looking at the Xayah.
Oh.
Oh, look at how much damage she's doing. Oh, okay, wait, no, okay, there's 2 targets here. Kai'Sa would double again. Okay.
Would have double.
Okay. Oh.
Cathian Rain.
Even if you go Kaz.
Yeah, I mean, especially in those broken up fights where everybody else is diving in and the Xayah is just isolated. This is everything we talked about, right?
I know Hannah has a 30% win rate in his career on this champion. I get it. But, like, he legitimately... I don't want to talk about it. He legitimately doesn't need to do more than just ult in when the rest of his teammate creates responses. I think Kwangdong completely out-team fought B&K, and that first game was, like, miles apart.
POG time, everybody. Let's take a look at who it is, and of course, it is the Giga Chad in the top lane, not the Lord Morgan.
Is it an 11? Or are we actually getting the deserved 12?
Right Media voted for 80 carry. I don't actually know, but they probably did. I mean, he comes in here, he does a lot of damage with Mini Nari, secures the kill onto Clear, who was kind of going on a creep. this fight was also big, waits for the exact right moment to go in with the Meganar. I mean, he was kind of just everywhere. He did the boom boom damage as Gnar. He also did the boom boom team fight engages as Gnar. He also took a 1v1 versus the OP champ.
Like, Aurora, come here.
He can do everything.
All right, I'm done with that. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Degon.
It's just great.
I appreciate you
Keep it
committing to
coming.
the bid. That's
Yay! We did it! Good job, everyone. Pack it up. We can go home now. Just kidding. We have game number 2 we got to send to the casters. So, Atlas and Ox, take it away.
Thank you very much, Digon and the boys, for the breakdown. Yes, Kai'Sa would have been a good champion, and I don't think it matters how well you can play it. She just would have been better than Xayah in that instance. I agree, and we called it before. 12 out of 12 was the most obvious thing ever. Even Right Media could figure it out, and thankfully, we were correct. That just says doo-doo, everyone, and that's all it needs to say after game 1.
That's all it really does. Yeah, a monster performance, and the team had some good moments, but like I think if you factor in how much harder this game would have been without Dudu, like that fight they showed where they picked up those kills at the end where he got that big Meganar.
Yeah.
I could have seen BNK FairX really just walking away. Obviously they still would have lost out on the Dragon, but they could have just slipped away with 4 people.
Yeah.
He doesn't catch them all out. The final push as well, if it wasn't for him just deciding we're ending the game now, the game could have extended. Probably still would have won, but it just feels like Dudu made such a big difference in that game, closing out in the manner it did, and it's going to be a bit of a blow to BNK FairX. They know how important this series is. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And they now need to bounce back in game 2.
Let's jump into the draft and see what kind of adaptation is going to come through. No side swaps here, as once again, I believe Nidalee Tristana are still going to be banned.
Yeah, I think like the first 3 picks from BNK FairX, pretty fine. Maybe they switch the Cassante for the Ezreal.
Yeah.
That could be something they do. They actually banned the Aurora themselves. I still think the pick was good. I don't think Aurora was the issue. But playing it into Ezreal obviously was. And now we're going to see what they end up taking here with the Aurora down. They want the Maokai, which...
I like this a lot, actually. I think that the Maokai has been really, really powerful for a lot of teams. We saw Pyoshik play 3 games of it in a row into Gen G. It's now on a 3-game winning streak based on that, I'm pretty sure, unless it was played by Sylvie in the series afterwards, but I don't believe so. I remember a certain POG on a Viego. It's just really, really strong at controlling games, and for what BNK wants to do, starting fights, very good. You press R.
Yeah,
fight started.
It works so well because whether you're playing to engage, like BNK like to, or like last game, playing that more peel disengage, it works in both compositions. And since people have started rushing Locket on the pick, it feels like it gets so durable so quickly and offers so much in those 5v5s. Now we will get the Dusante coming through, the Zyra from Cuz as well. Definitely.
Chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với ván 2 của bên
If BNK FairX do dive into the Zyra, they have to deal with
cộng đồng Fit
Cuz also good at peeling away targets, so definitely feels like they can lean into
và
that
Pháp.
position again. Clear though, looking towards that Gnar, which you obviously saw Dudu have a fantastic game on. First and foremost, they're going to lock in the Corki for closer.
Yep.
Sau trận đấu còn cả đá quá kinh thì bên Phốc đã quyết định là cướp mẹ đi nó rồi. Raisa và Cassante quyết định lấy đi Corki của Bulldog. Đấu rơi sẽ đánh cất Corki trận này. Bulldog sẽ mang con bài gì để khắc chế đối đầu với Closer ở đường giữa đây. Vâng, được kèo luôn chừng Ron nè. Kèo cực căng đến từ hai đội.
Yep. Ashe Ezreal, I think, really standing out for me as to what BNK wants to be banning away. I think that Henna needs something with some sort of follow-up, although in this composition, it's probably fine to pick something like a Misfortune, I guess, just because they are a little bit more stationary. It's a little bit less, we're going to rocket forward without Yone and make things happen. It's more about, can we peel for the enemy Yone this time around? Is Kalista going to be taken off the board?
Yeah, interesting we haven't seen the Zeri get a look in. Maybe Quantum Freaks want to deny that themselves, but, it's a pick that obviously Henna's had a ton of success on. but Lipa also pretty solid on it. So Ezreal gets banned. If you pay,
Quyết định vẫn
if you take the Zeri, they might just respond with Kai'Sa. We've seen that matchup be pretty good. BNK
như đánh lại đổi chất tướng hay sao ấy nhỉ?
into as well.
Maokai, Corki, La
MF and Jin
đổ lại cho bên kia rồi.
follow-up champions, and then you have Kai'Sa and Zeri more the my team is engaging, I'm with them. That we definitely know BNK Fearax like to play.
Ezreal thì bị cấm rồi, chắc chắn không có Ezreal trong trận đấu này rồi. Mid Fortune. Bay Zipper As mất rồi. Một xạ thủ cấm hết đằng sau. Và còn Cesi Rakan trận đánh hay là đánh còn xe tải giúp biểu thì bây giờ chuyển sang đánh Jerry rồi.
I think they almost have to in this instance. Na and Cassante not going to be too happy about that. That is an insta-lock.
Nautilus. Đấy, hai bên có vẻ khắc cục xúc nhỉ. Giải ra đi rừng. Giải ra đi rừng trong tay của thật là farm cháy máy luôn. Bên của bên cộng đồng fit trong trẻ thế. Chắc là 2000 mấy đó.
The team fighting power is there for them, and I think Quantum Freaks, you know, they have the lockdown for Zeri. They have Yuri who wants to go in, Zyra who's more about sort of disengaging. It feels like their comp isn't as well rounded.
Huấn luyện viên bên Phốc chuyển kiếp của Faker. Em cái cũng ác hết. KDF.
Let's see whether we're in a dip or a rise at this point in time, because BNK a little bit more stable as far as the draft this time, although still some worries for that bottom lane.
Yeah, a little bit more straightforward. It really comes down to how the bot lane can perform, but also you know, the mid jungle. Yes, these picks work well, but not necessarily something we see them picking up every day.
Exactly. Jump into the rip. Game number 2. Affected by which sides of LoL Park I'm on as far as like who I'm assuming are the loudest. Quantum Freaks are like double the volume of BNK here today as far as the fandom is concerned. Everyone's sort of showing up to support them as they make their rise once again from their slump in the mid-season.
Đổi được chăng?
Phạt mắt.
Yeah, bit of extra XP given over from that as well.
Biết Fortune đối đầu với Jerry.
Often in these range versus melee matchups in the top lane, getting the brushes water can make such a huge difference because as a melee champion like the Cassante, you can kind of
Hà Nội giờ đang có tỷ số trên bảng xếp hạng là 7-8.
Yeah, there's kind of two sides to it because they have a rough lane and swapping would help mitigate that. But the other side is we've seen a lot of teams
không có động thái gì từ hai người đi rừng.
Backfire quite heavily. So yeah, you know, BNK Fearax, we praise them for their team fighting. We praise them for all being on the same page when they're engaging. But I don't think their macro game has ever been one of their big strengths. So you know, perhaps not wanting to do something they're maybe not too practiced on.
Yep. And it is still, you know, a engage versus engage on the bottom side of the map. It's not like a Karma situation like it was yesterday. In the last game. And so we'll just have to see whether this can just go better, especially with a loss streak of 8 games in a row for the Nautilus.
Phút đầu comeback chung nhẹ.
Some decent names on that list there as well. Lahens being one of them is the important thing. He's only lost 2 games so far.
Bulldog chưa chỉ số lính nào kìa.
3 games. Take it back. Sometimes
chưa từ tay gạt đây.
He actually won that series.
It felt like a fever dream.
It
to be honest.
really was.
Để Closer farm hơn đúng rồi.
Wolf and I didn't know which dimension we were in.
Cơn dọn được rất nhanh.
Maybe we would have gone back to a relatively normal dimension.
Màu xanh là
Apparently
từ đó Raptor còn trước cả. Xong bãi xoáy.
Definitely one of the more crazy results we've had in the past few years, honestly,
I would
in the
say so.
LCK. But yeah, I think Nautilus, ultimately, we've been seeing a lot more, even like the Rakan. Rakan has really benefited.
Oh, actually hits the wall on that one, and a little bit of a regret
The
situation there.
The Rakan has really benefited from like the Warmogs meta because he ends up so much tankier and has that mobility. But a lot of the picks like Rel, Leona, Alistar, just so much tankier than Nautilus, and he often ends up struggling into them.
Full clear at 3 minutes here for Cuz, as he's already behind the enemy turret, putting down some Qs, trying to land the slow. We'll be able to get that from the plant, but the grasping roots not going to connect. Let's see whether they can actually make something happen here as Duro lit on fire already. Leaper in a bit of trouble, but Duro's burning. He gets the shield, and that is going to be Comet to take him down. First blood goes to Cuz. Quandong Freaks once again off on the right foot.
Yeah, good start. It looked precarious there, but they get the play, they get the kill. I will say, Henna surviving is pretty big. He gets a lot of farm on the back of that would have otherwise been denied. But you see what happens when you have these lanes like a Rakan, who doesn't have the pressure early. And also, we've seen a lot of them taking the heal. The Ignite reduces that healing massively.
Yeah.
And the barrier on Henna, I mean, they're not focusing Henna, so it's meaningless.
Maybe instead it should be Duro taking the barrier. maybe that's the answer to everything. As Duro hasn't been all that durable.
Mình đoạn được rồi.
Bulldog.
Ồ, không hết tung được.
Bind the soul. He'll have to come back to that.
Không luôn chết mẹ đi.
To land himself a gleaming quilt. And Closer is going to push this wave in. Dudu just suffering at the hands of the very frustrating Minina, as you would expect.
Interestingly, Closer's gone for fleet footwork instead of first strike, which is normally what we see. But we'll talk about the dive first. The initial route doesn't connect. And Jiro, I mean, credit to him, I think he does everything he can here, apart from maybe he should have healed earlier. There was a point there, if he'd healed before the Ignite had come down, he would have gotten more health.
Yeah.
Maybe would have been the difference maker. But in terms of, flashing away, trying to buy as much time as possible, I think his decisions were right. It's just that late heal after the Ignite kind of backfired. But yeah, good dive from Quandong Freaks. And yeah, so normally we've seen into, particularly like the Yone, Corki will take first strike and then just farm gold off him. But Closer opting to go for the fleet footwork, and so far lane matchup has been going pretty good. We saw after level 3, Bulldog started to have some trouble last game. Closer hasn't had that, but obviously he's not just getting free money.
Well, Clear is also just going to throw down a Gnar onto Dudu. Message received, I think, but we'll now go for a bit of a reset. And it does have a decent amount of CS here towards the top side of the map, but Dudu not looking like he is affected at all. As Cuz, once again, moving down towards his bottom side of the map, Duro does get that heal. So going to be feeling a little bit better. Plants are plenty. And Cuz just going to go back towards this dragon. Looks like Raptor has some contesting on his mind. As Cuz with plants down, and that back is not going to get stopped still. Closer doesn't have teleport this time around, and so therefore should be Dragon going over to the Quandong Freaks as Raptor is moving now into the fog of war. Pings go down, Bulldog saw him. We're a little bit concerned about whether he would be seen or not, but it looks like Raptor for Dragon going to be the trade once again.
Yeah, so looks like, I'm not sure Cuz will really move over to contest. Oh.
Yep, I said Raptor for Dragon. Duro is going to have to get out of here. There's the burn, and Andil's going to get another one. And that's just in the plain 2v2 as, that is a long twisted advance as Raptor is going to be able to push Bulldog back now. Closer Valkyrieing forward. They want to try and find this one. Rockets flying down. Another one will connect, but Bulldog gets himself back far enough.
That's mission successful from Bulldog. He still had ult and flash to get out, and yes, he has to reset. Maybe loses a plate, but you stalled out these grubs from Raptor. Meanwhile, the bot lane of BNK DRX is bleeding.
Yeah, this is not going well, and honestly, Duro and Henna having a really rough time so far today. Yes, it was a difficult matchup last time around, but I don't think we were quite seeing some of the pizzazz that Duro had when he made his way in. And maybe their last matchup against D+, even though it was close, maybe it did sort of really wear on them, right? Like, it's a series like that that can be extraordinarily close. You know, you can feel that playoffs were right there if they were able to actually take that one down. And then it can really wear on you moving towards the next series in the week, because you don't get very much time off before you have to be on once again. And maybe for Henna and Duro, it was a little bit of a struggle getting back towards, you know, that form that BNK had started to build.
I'll say the solo lane is looking in good form so far in this game.
Yeah.
It's the expectation, but, you know, we saw Bulldog struggling in this matchup on the other side after that level 3 point in some of the trades. Closer not having that issue. Clear really putting the pressure on Dudu. Hasn't really been reflected in the farm, but you can see how low Dudu consistently is.
Yeah, and not reflected in the farm seems to be a little bit of a theme here outside of mid lane, because Henna is also very, very close to the CS as, okay, All Out is going to come on through here as Clear does have to flash to create that distance. Trading ulti for flash, though, I don't think is necessarily worth it, as Clear will now hit that Mega Gnar. And we'll find a wallop here, actually pulled on over towards Dudu. The rock isn't going to land, though, or the house, depending on what you want to talk about, whether it's the actual ability or just this particular skin. Clear is going to be able to push this one further forward. But flash advantage now for Dudu in the 1v1.
Yeah, which can definitely be punished later. We'll see Clear, though, now with the ult down, a bit more confident, does get a plate there.
Yep.
So still happy in terms of goals, but potential vulnerability if that flash is capitalized on. We can see Bulldog, as you said, down in farm in the mid lane. And Duro, I'm not sure what happened to make him reset now, but you can see Henna is playing so far behind the tower without his support. Feels like the pressure is just getting more and more prevalent in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's
better.
Cannon's coming through, and maybe they were just sensing that this could be a timing for Cuz to be down there towards the bottom lane once again. They hadn't seen him in quite some time. He's going to stretch that RCS margin. But I think that was a cannon minion as well, so Henna should be able to come through and actually clear out a lot of these. But it's not quite enough to actually even things out. As we can see, it's going to be stretched to a 10 CS CS advantage. As Closer moving over, will I believe find Cuz if he does throw any vision in the area.
He pinged the plants you can see on the map, so
yeah.
I think spotted those and assumed Cuz had been in that area. We can see the Raptor now moving over to provide some cover. We'll check things out with saplings and do a little bit of investigating.
Yeah.
See if you can track down the enemy jungler.
Get some bad news that the jungle's pretty empty at this point in time. Cuz just coming on over and tearing everything out. Still, the Raptors are going to spawn. Raptor will find the Raptors and take the Raptors.
Yeah, you'd hope, you know,
yeah.
his namesake. But yeah, so I think ultimately, you know, avoiding anything too horrific happening. If we saw another dive bot lane, I think it could just be game over. But this is where it gets really problematic because we've already seen bot lane suffering. Alipa now has the Bloodthirster, and this...
Okay, a little bit of an aggressive move from Clear and Dudu on this top side. They're just playing Biffo. It's just a lot of hitting.
You know,
yeah.
It's a bit of wrestling, nothing too crazy here. Unless Cuz is spotted, so he's not going to be able to make anything happen. The main thing is, can Clear get the cannon?
Oh no, zoned away from the cannon.
Yeah.
Beautiful timing from Cuz.
Yeah, -1 cannon. That's a tilter more than anything, and that's what you really need.
Oh, that's not a -1 cannon. That is a beautiful cannon take there, as Closer able to Valkyrie away from the dredge line that was coming in to try and punish it. Plant comes on through, and looks like Duro and Closer are going to be able to take that one down. Raptor flashing in immediately. The Stranglethorns goes down, though. Gets a nice double knock-up. The ulti comes in from Bulldog as well, and the rocket is going to miss. Oh, so close there for BNK. Still, they are still alive. Not going to get punished too hard.
So much committed there. Unfortunately, not able to find it. They are just going to move towards the grubs. I mean, Cuz is low enough that they should be able to secure these. It is a Chemtech Dragon second, though, so no disappointing soul now. And if Quantum Freaks can secure that one, it'd be pretty big for them.
Yeah, Bulldog coming on over to try and grab a plate, and will be able to do that successfully. Raptor getting 6 grubs could be pretty important here. They've got a Corki that does wipe out turrets pretty quickly. Not to mention Gnar, if left in a side lane with a Trinity Force, especially able to get work done there too.
If you're able to get those 6 grubs and make some use of them before the plates are gone, that's really where you can benefit. So I think that's what Quantum Freaks are hoping for. Clear's had pressure in the top lane. If you can get some more time on that tower with the Demolish as well, could be big. And they've just given up on bot lane.
Yeah.
But now with the Bloodthirster, you know, Zeri, her ability to contest lane after 6 is very much based around her ult. If you're not ulting, I mean, even if you do, Lipa just walks up to you, autos you, and out-heals all your damage. There's really very limited counterplay. So I think, even though this feels bad, sacrificing the first turret, I think it's a decision you have to make.
Well, Henna's moving over. Wants to try and make use of those grubs that they did manage to pick up. Extendo Beam going to allow him to do that, as Raptor is considering a dive as they get rid of Vision as well. Dudu just going to have to vacate the area. First turret blood does go over to Quandong Freaks, and Dudu eats the CC. Will not be able to keep his turret alive. they keep this investment of people towards this top side, though, this could be a lot of damage onto an inner turret at the same time. And Quantum Freaks, they know that. They're going to rotate Cuz and Andal over here. Andal actually thinking about a little bit of a wraparound to try and go for a counter engage. It's still going to be a man advantage for BNK, but Raptor might be caught out of position. That's a hook that's going to connect onto him. Stranglethorns goes down, the knock-up avoided by the Twisted Advance, and the Nature's Grasp, it comes out as well. A possible opportunity now for Henna, but the Grasping Roots is going to stop him in place. He has to skate his way out.
Yeah, the phase rush coming through, really helpful for Raptor, and also that locket rush, you know, that little bit of extra shielding really makes you feel so much more durable in those early fights. Here we see it's very instantaneous. They spot the Zyra in the right spot of the wall, immediately flash, and Closer, unfortunately, just to get this final rocket, would have taken down Cuz, would have made the play all worth it. A lot of summoners invested to make that one work.
And it would have been a bit like, oh, he doesn't quite have a shutdown just yet. I thought that maybe would have put one together, but that could have been even extra gold going over to BNK. A bit disappointing.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. Quantum Freaks now with a 1,000 gold lead, which you assume is mostly going to be in that bot lane in the jungle. And it is an Ocean Soul, so not the most impactful overall.
Yeah, we've had some pretty, it's kind of fizzed out, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The Soul situation. But that's okay, just honest game of League of Legends between two teams,
It's
you know?
good for BNK FearX, second time in a row where they give over 2 dragons and get a good weak soul for the other side.
Well, there's an all-out once again as Clear is looking for that Mega. Now he finds it! The wallop connects onto the all-outed Kazante, and now Andal looking to come up and try and punish. Flash still available. Clear not going to be able to use it. Throws the house at Dudu. Max range on the wallop, but he's still just dead because there's another Nautilus. And he is just going to go down. Nicely played here by the Quandong Freaks.
Yeah, Clear though, kind of clutching it there. Obviously did lose out the fight against Dudu, but denied the kill from him. I think that's the pivotal thing. It looked so close to it just being a bunch of gold for the Xante.
Yep.
And now Andal's on the warpath.
He is just walking with a purpose, man. And it looked like, you know, Henna just didn't really know. He's like, why is he so confident? I guess I should probably respect it. Skates over the wall, gets out of the way. Now looking to try and put some farm together. Does have a static shiv this time, so clearing waves going to be a lot quicker here for the Zeri. We know that Henna, very practiced on this champion. See whether he can utilize this extra mobility that he will have on this champ to try and be a little bit more relevant in this game. I think a very different story to how late game team fights are going to go now that a Zeri is being piloted instead of that Xayah, which is something that you'd expect that we would say because we were pretty critical of the Xayah last time around. As Quantum Freaks now looking for a bit of an engage, and that's a max range hook to come out from Andal, but Clear not too worried about it. They kind of like the fact that they started this fight, and there is another option here as Leaper going to get Extendo Beam. Stranglethorns now on cooldown as Bulldog in this bottom lane was split pushing Andal a little bit too far.
And ultimately, BNK FearX not only get a kill there on the Nautilus, but also rewarded with the Herald as well. So they can be pretty happy with that one. They've already taken down the top tier 1. I think mid tier 1 is usually the port of call when you have a Herald. It could be a nice influx of gold to close this gap. A minute until that next dragon. Obviously, Ocean Soul not the most impactful, but still one you want to deny where possible.
Yeah, Raptor on vision here, because it looks like he's going to be able to grab this Rift Scuttler pretty comfortably. And 1,000 gold the lead for Quandong Freaks. Not feeling as important as it was in the last game where Quandong were making play after play. This is a good hook from Andal, but
yeah, they
bridge
don't
too far.
Really have the follow-up because it already split off. You don't have the ult from Nautilus. You're also down in numbers, so you wouldn't really want him to take the fight anyway. Just a little bit over-ambitious with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andal's had a pretty solid Nautilus game so far. Just one little flub.
Yep, and that's first kill for Closer as well. So this Corki getting on track, does have the Trinity Force now completed. Looking for that Mirror Mana for that big spike that we were talking about in the last game and have been talking about all season long.
I mean, both solo lanes, BNK FearX doing great, but the goal difference between 80 carries right now,
that's
massive.
Insane. And I think that's mainly just plates. Of course, the couple of assists coming on in there, but it was Andal that was able to pick up one of the kills, Cuz grabbing that first blood. Still doesn't matter. That gold lead is gigantic.
It was the plates, and it was also that solo tower, but the first tower as well that really paid off. Now the tower, about low enough. Leaper's recall gets cancelled. He's a little bit more low mana, but there's a honey fruit. But that Herald should just kill that mid lane tier 1. Pretty big for BNK FearX to take that one. Oh, it's super close though. I think one burst fire would be good.
Yeah, and it goes over, presses Q. Going to be able to grab that one. That is some Some local gold for the Zeri. At the same time, we can have a look back at that gold advantage, trickling towards about 1.2k or something like that. So certainly doing a bit of triage there as Clear looking for a flank angle. That Narbar in a gorgeous position as Bulldog, same idea for him. And Clear now just going to be pushed out of the area. Raptor was considering some sort of movement as well as Closer pushing out the mid lane. And this Drake being started up by Kwangdong Freaks. Rest of the map not necessarily in the right position for them though, as Clear is on vision. Bulldog gets rid of him. And now the Nature's Grasp comes in. Andal in a little bit of trouble. The Flash Twisted Advance is going to connect. Bullet Time doing a lot of work, but Cuz is just going to be destroyed. There goes Andal as well. And Raptor, he's done his job. Gorgeously played. Still going to go down, but it doesn't seem to matter as Lipa in the alcove just trying to be avoided by the rest of B&K. Closer almost goes down as Dudu looks for him. That flash was so sexy from Closer. And now Clear just trying to get rid of this because Sante, he cannot close the gap. It's the first time we've seen it, and Bulldog's even baited in. The Hyper Proc will get it, and Clear, cool guys, don't look at explosions. It's a double kill, and they wipe them off the map.
There's the beautiful team fighting from B&K FearX who were looking for, able to clutch it out. And it was so many individual moments that ended up being so impactful because you see him spotting Henna and Raptor on the side. Pops a bit of a burst down onto him, and then this is the combo between the Zyra and the MF. You see that Henna just survives, able to finish off Andal. And I think Closer plays this so well. Leaper obviously gets away no HP, but Closer pre-firing the Phosphorus Bomb as he comes back to chunk him out. Takes out Leaper, and then this flash at a clutch moment.
Oh
and
my god, the flash.
Think how close this ended up being, Judo nearly taking him down. If Closer had died any earlier than this, they might have just lost.
Yeah.
But him surviving makes a big difference. Bulldog tries to commit for the kill, gets chased down by Clear. I think also Juro did a fantastic job of just being there, getting CC down, getting the healing, the shielding.
I think, like, honestly, like, the battle dancing around, the landing of the Gleaming Quills to get that little bit of extra health back for Closer.
It made the difference.
Yeah, absolutely clutch. And that means the B&K are able to grab themselves this third dragon, deny Soul Point from Kwangdong Freaks. And this is where things have deviated from what we saw in game number 1. This is the B&K that we know and love, the one that just puts together team fights that just work out, as Dudu is just going to walk
Wait, what was
past
that?
him. And he'll never know that he was one step away from catching Captain Jack Sparrow.
It's funny, he walked back and it's like, wait, did I? Was that?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, there was
On
something
in that
tingling.
bush?
There was something tingling. You know, he could feel the pixels.
And then he walks, he said, no, I must have imagined it.
Yeah, yeah. Does that
crazy.
brush look a little bit more polygony than the last one? I don't know.
Hard to tell. Oh, it's because it's the ocean map, so all the brushes look a bit different.
Yeah, they
Oh, no,
do.
it's the little flowers in the bushes.
Yeah,
That
that's
must
what it was.
have been it.
And, you know, there's a little bit of a flowery vibe to Rakan just in general, so you can understand why you might just miss it. As Kuz moving back into his jungle, he's going to continue clearing things out. Ahead by about 30 CS is feeling pretty good, but 2 items are now done for Raptor.
If you look at your skin, it's the same color as the flowers in the brush.
Oh,
You know,
it's
maybe
actually
intentional?
camouflage.
Yeah.
There we go. Intentional skin choice based on the potential soul for this game. Gorgeously done by Duro.
Very effective, you know. He's
Maybe
not-
Riot Media is going to vote for him for POG purely because of that. Like, maybe that's an example of the things we just don't know.
Yeah, we just don't. We're getting a glimpse into the genius behind Riot Media.
I know.
You know, I don't think we can compete.
And that's why you should never judge things you don't understand, because maybe you're just the idiot. You know? And that's why, actually no, we judge all the time. But still, maybe we should think twice before we do it. As now Henna has found Leaper. Bullet Time goes down. He gets himself a big old shield, and despite the Stranglethorns, he's still going to be able to grab the kill. Now both AD carries are dead. The Nature's Grasp, it flies forward. Andal's trying to get out of there, but Dudu's trying to get in there. And I don't think that was the right idea. Clear getting towards his Meganar, and I don't think that this fight is going to last any longer. A 2-for-1 trade, and Henna is angry after game 1.
See how much more confident he's looking on this Zeri, going for the aggressive play, takes out Leaper, and the power with the ultimate from Zeri, able to sort of zip away from Leaper's ult. Does go down, but they get another kill in return as well, and that's the thing, when you have the Knob providing all this DPS, and the Corki is that backup AD carry, and it's just confident to trade his life there. I think the big difference as well, he had not only the barrier, but the shield bow.
Yeah.
So much extra durability in this fight, and you can see Leaper just, you know, didn't expect to get dove on by a Zeri in this situation.
Yeah, the point-blank ultimate as well, relatively easy to move out of the way of. Dudu does dispatch him quite comfortably, but then he just goes too far forward. The all-out is an all-outer here.
Yeah, it's one of these things where if he didn't go that aggressive, Andal probably dies. So
나 미포랑 1대 할게.
ends up
미포랑
being
1대
a trade.
할게.
And the big
가져,
thing,
가져.
he gets the
Yep.
endo beam.
미포랑 1대,
initially.
미포랑 1대.
Like, we're gonna go kill it.
미포 잡았어, 미포 잡았어.
Yep. He's like, undead, but it's okay, win the fight.
It's about sending a
잘
message.
나누고, 잘 나누고.
Nicely done there by Henna, keeping his head on his shoulders despite a difficult game number one. 3-0-3 now is the result for Closer, as we can see. Moving towards Rapid Fire Cannon, very close to 3 items completed.
Also, so much farm in this game. You know, Lipa's pretty close at 246, but I feel like so many times he panned over to Closer, just clearing waves in the top lane. You can see it from the experience as well.
That's,
Level
that's a full level,
now.
right? Yeah. Ooh, that is a scary, scary Corki. And this is the other side of the matchup from game one.
Yeah, and it's been going really well for Closer in this one. And as well, when you have the Triforce, the extra levels, the extra base AD makes pretty sizable difference.
Yeah. Duna now looking for Henna once again. A little bit of a tussle, but Henna does have a dash. Gets himself out of the way. As the Corgi making his way up the bottom lane. Bulldog trying to do the same thing here, splitting on the top side, but the extra pressure here from B&K starting to wear down onto the Kwangdong Freaks. You saw them start off the Baron earlier on. That was sort of what predicated the catch there from Henna. See whether they do go back and try and accelerate this game anymore. We've got 45 seconds before the Dragon, though. That might be the next time we get a 5v5.
You see, B&K Ferrex toying with the idea of starting off this Baron. You know, Maokai peeling off Baron with the ult, definitely very powerful. He can also sustain quite well with his passive off it.
Yep, teleport in from Closer. They know that there could be a potential fight here, but Bulldog doesn't have his teleport. He's in the bottom lane, and he's not going to be available for this team. But this Baron is just gone. Nature's Grasp will say, no, you are not getting in here. And Dudu is once again overextended. He's going to try and get out, able to mitigate the CC. But now there's no frontline available for a potential team fight to come in. Hook is going to connect onto Henna. It's the perfect target. The ulti from Bulldog as he is going to rebind the soul. They take down 2 of the Barons, and Andal is even able to walk it off. How the heck did that happen?
Beautiful hook from Andal, but a critical error from Henna there. Just walks through the brush, not expecting the engage. And after getting the Baron, getting away scot-free, it backfires. 2 kills picked up by Kwangdong Freaks, and they will get that 3rd Dragon as well.
That is really going to impact the Red Bull Baron power play as well. You can see already at about 800.
It's like in the heist films when they pull off the heist successfully and then someone betrays them inside the squad, you know, and it all backfires. And now Kwangdong Freaks, you know, looked really dire, them losing this Baron here. But this just really, this didn't need to happen. I think B&K Ferrex could have just backed away on this one, so a bit of a mistake for Andal with the killer sense. You can see the ult here from Lipa really disengages the fight, not able to follow up into that. But here, they don't have vision in this brush, and Henna's just walking through freely.
Yeah.
You know, so disrespectful. It is a great follow-up from Bulldog onto Andal's initial hook there.
And I think they just kind of thought that they were fine, and they were absolutely not. Wallet going to connect here on the top side as Clear throws his ultimate in the wrong direction. But of course, Dudu able to dash his way out of it. Looked a little bit silly there, coming straight out of the replay as Nature's Grasp coming down once again. Lipa in trouble. The flash forward, the grand entrance, and Lipa should just be dead here. The burst fire does come on down. We'll see whether Bulldog can actually equalize the trade, but Henna is going to be able to flash away now. Dudu going all out once again, but Clear is just going to hop on over the top and picks up the kill. B&K back on track once again.
Even with a hiccup, they still know what the MO is. They managed to find an angle. Lipa with the cleanse, thinking he's safe in the Maokai, but just wasn't enough to stop Juro coming in. And now B&K Ferrex pick up some more kills. They have the Baron in hand on a couple of their members, and they're going to keep pushing in.
Yeah, Closer going to be able to take down an inner turret on the top side while the rest of the team are able to get rid of the mid lane. This should be inhibitor turret at least taking a beating, as Bulldog looking to try and defend, does a decent job. Remember, this is 6 grubs, so these turrets just fall like they're made of paper. And Henna even able to eviscerate this wave as well. And what we thought might not be that much of a Red Bull Baron power play is just triaged pretty nicely here to close to 5,000.
Yeah, they don't want to overstep here. There's only 30 seconds left on it, and they're kind of cautious about being engaged on, so they will back away without getting that tier 2 bot. We can see here Andal stepping up, trying to, you know, defy Juro a little bit here, but the team really is in a position of pressure, and Lipa ends up caught up here. Kind of isolated, doesn't have flash, thinks, okay, I got cleanse, doesn't even get hit by the Maokai ult, but this flash combo coming in from Juro just ensures his death.
Yeah. I think Leaper knew that he was in the wrong position there as well. With the way that he was moving, he's like, oh no, 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 and then he's dead.
Yeah, one of those things where you see it a little bit too late. And we do see Henna get the flash burn by Bulldog there, though, so, you know, it is potentially something they can look to punish. They obviously did take him out earlier with that Nautilus hook, see if they find an angle like that again. But there's not any objectives on the map for another few minutes now. But the team's posturing, and I think for the side of Quantum Freaks, that mid-tier 1 still being up, definitely a sore point for them.
Yep, they are going to try and mitigate that problem right now as Bulldog dashing forward, but this minion wave is going to be wiped out.
It's crazy because there's obviously a pretty big goal lead, but it's just all mid and top.
Yeah, my God, Closer is so big.
He's almost got IE, he's almost got 4 items. He has more components of IE than Bulldog does. He's finished his IE.
Yeah,
Bulldog's just got a BF sword, and it's his 3rd item versus Closer having his 4th, so this Corki's monstrously strong.
It's like he just has a free rapid fire cannon, and then is ahead as far as the race to IE is concerned. Like, that is just nutty. And we know what he's capable of doing on champions like this as well. It means that Henna, much less pressure on him with the double 80 carry composition. BNK looking so much better here in this game. Looks like shoring up the composition really has done wonders here.
Shoring up the composition by not having Xayah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and also picking away all of the champions you lost to in game number 1 on the top side of the map. Worked very well, as now Nature's Grasp is going to fly on forward. Clear, throwing houses around. There's the flash. No, the ulti from Bulldog does nothing. They take down the turret, and now they're looking to just say goodnight to game number 2. And this Saturday showdown might be going the distance. The ulti comes in from Henna. Their health bars aren't exactly the greatest, but look at Dudu. He is not really a full tank in this game, unfortunately, not when Closer has anything to say about it. They'll take down the inhibitor on the bottom side of the map, and maybe they can just push further forward for even more. Andil trying to hook his way in. The knock-up not going to connect there onto Dudu, as Bulldog going to have to go back to the Unbound Soul. And I think maybe they'll just back away with what they have. BNK now with an 8,000 gold lead, looking to go for that final push after they've gotten all these health bars back up again.
Yeah, trying to stop the recalls a bit here, because it's only 35 seconds till Dragon and Baron would be sold for Quantum Freaks, so you can see them pinging the Dragon, thinking this is what we'll go for. There's actually a ward there. Not sure if we'll see a TP to try and punish, but pretty big play for BNK FairX, but not quite enough for them to close out the game. Clay gets a massive ult here on all these members. It's a nice buffer, though, from Bulldog, so he doesn't end up actually going down. But Leaper, there's just nothing he can do. Ult at the end, gets a few waves off, which does lower the health of everyone BNK FairX, but it's not enough.
Yep. And while Clear was diving, they had to deal with the turret there as well, so the follow-up wasn't immediate. Does mean that they do lose the Gnar. Maybe that is part of the reasoning here, but Quantum Freaks not fast enough on this take of the Baron as Duro gets in there. Yeah, the Make It Rain does come down. That is going to deny, but let's see whether Quantum Freaks can keep themselves in this game, whether they can pick up a soul as Nature's Grasp is looking to try and say no. The Stranglethorns comes down, though, as Raptor avoids the knockup once again. That is going to be the soul picked up, and the jungler is now dead, but Andil is going to go down as well. Dudu is taken from the fight as Henna, the ultimate's going to come through, but the knockup is immediate. The bullet time comes down, and the flash is going to be used just to get out of the way. Leaper is dead, and Cuz, the last man standing. And yes, you may have picked up a soul, but it's going to be traded for your Nexus.
It's a valiant effort from Quantum Freaks, but it's just not enough. The goal deficit too big. Closer, way too strong. And it looks like we'll be getting the 3 gamers. Both teams not willing to give up on their playoff dreams now.
Exactly, and it's exactly what we wanted to see out of this Saturday showdown as well. 3 games, these 2 teams so tightly matched. And after what was a bit of a fumble in the draft, BNK just like, we can fix that. They sorted out, no side selection change required, and they will be able to bring us to a game number 3. This is where things get interesting, if we do have teams switching sides now.
Yep, obviously Quantum Freaks losing that one feels a bit rough, but they get a chance to adjust. We saw BNK make some great adjustments. Yep. Quantum Freaks now get side selection. They can obviously go over towards the blue side if they please. Things like the Maokai, 100% win rate so far. Corki as well, the Gnar as well. So can see the opportunity to prioritize some of these picks. We'll see what the adjustments come in, but both these teams doing everything it feels like in these games to keep their hopes alive. Both of them just challenging constantly in the fights. have been so good to watch.
Yeah, just explosive. And B&K, I think they can be trusted for that. I think Kwangdong Freaks really meeting them on their level for that one as well. I think this time around, Andor was a little bit punished, and I think the Nautilus is once again proving to be a little bit of a problem point for a lot of our teams. I don't know whether it's like a symptom, like if it's part of the problem or just happens to happen every time, because we know that Nautilus does have its value. I think it hasn't been working.
Part of the problem is it gets mangled by a lot of the picks in the meta in the team fights, you know, like playing into Maokai really hard, but also, you know, you ult the Zeri, great, there's still a Corki. You know, with these double AD carries, there's more threats to deal with. You can't just ult a Zeri and be done with it.
Yeah, and you can see Ryu still with a lot of things to say to B&K. It's time for us to go to a short break. When we get back, the Space going to break it down, and we'll have game number 3. We'll see you there.
야 이번에 천천히 나가보자 이거. W 8초.
나 그래 먼저 끌리면 안 되거든. 나 공 쓰면서 봐볼게.
오케이 요네
나
바텀에
그래 끌릴 때 공 쓸게.
야 가보자.
야, 너 앞라인.
암라이. 야 선택.
가게 상태 봐봐. 나 가게 했거든.
선택 앞에 보자.
나중에 불만해 이거. 야, 쭉 가자.
쭉 봐봐. 야, 요네 앞으로 박았다. 다이라 노클. 요네 봐.
네. 나이스.
다이라 노클이야. 다이라 노클.
미포 보자. 프리서.
다이라 노클.
끝까지 가자.
나 10텔. 미드텔. 갑니다.
여기 봐.
여기 방어.
끝내. 어우 나이스. 오 마이 갓.
어우, 이 맛이지.
아 이거지.
OMG is right, Duro, as B&K FearX tie this one up after a great back-and-forth match between them and Kwangdong Freaks. And what better way to earn your playoff spot than doing it the hard way? They dropped the first game, but bounce back here.
The next game is probably going to decide which of these two teams is going to make it to the playoffs, right? Every other team that's currently fighting KT and T1 are going to be looking at this one as well. This is going to be a really, really big deal. And right now it's 1-1 after what was definitely a pretty weak showing. Yep. I think that there are a couple of things we need to talk about. I think Maokai is absolute top tier, and we have seen teams that can kind of play around him, but I don't think either of these teams' objective setup is good enough. So I really wish we would just ban it and leave the Renekton up. I know Renekton is strong, but I do think he's more answerable both in comp and in draft. Because Maokai, when neither team has perfect macro, is just so insanely OP. Because if you ever get a tempo advantage, you just walk to the objective, and if they're like a couple of seconds too late, you just can't approach. So it's basically just an objective hack.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of insane what that champion can do, especially alongside Inari. You saw that they were able to prioritize both of them, especially because the Cassante was picked blind. So that kind of gave a good lane for Clear to play around and also a good pick for their composition. And then eventually we saw the Zeri Rakan. It got behind, but we were very happy that it wasn't Xayah and that he was actually able to join into the fights. Even though Henna didn't have a fantastic game, was still, I feel like, a bit more serviceable, even though they did get dove on the bottom side of the map.
You said probably take a look at the Maokai and get rid of it. Well, I want to know which ban you dropped, because these bans look pretty good, because this is the power of it.
Yeah, you dropped the Renekton. As we see here, the team fighting power of this comp in full force. And we see the MF. It just hasn't seemed to really hit. I really do think MF is the type of pick that excels in theory when you have a frontline like this, but it just isn't enough, right? I think there's so much mobility, so much backline threat in the composition that is available here. And this is even with the bot lane not necessarily going that well, right? There was the early dive that the Zyra found. As closer, we talked a lot about this guy's individual performance, like really stepping up. And I think that these fights are a great example. Mechanically, very, very clean with it, making sure they have enough damage to actually clean out this fight.
Yeah, the flash was insane. I feel like that's part of the reason why Closer is going to get POG in this game, if I spoil it again. I mean, he did do a lot of damage, and he just, was able to carry really heavily, even when Henna wasn't really as available in this game. So yeah, big shout out to Closer.
Brendan Spoiler Valdez over here. Well,
still be clear.
Good.
Nope.
Here, spoil this next highlight, Valdez, is they fought around Nash and then got a pick in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this is that the Nash play from the side of B&K was great. They get the Drake, or the Baron, they throw out the Nature's Grasp, and they say, okay, well, you can't fight us. And then they walk in a straight line in front of Nautilus. This was a... you can't do this. I'm not really sure why they did this. And kind of gave an opening for Quantum Freaks to maybe come back in the game, but then immediately Quantum Freaks threw it back.
That realistically could have been the end of them making playoffs. If they do that against a better team, like that pick right there on Henna when he has Flash, that could have been it. And I think realistically, shouldn't they still have Baron on 3 people? But there are teams against which you can't do that. But then Kwangdong are like, we are going to really flip the game on fighting in the jungle over a red buff. And I don't think that level of desperation was needed. I think there was still, even though it was slim an angle for them, if they find a good team fight angle, they had great engage on front line. So I don't really think you need to go that aggressive. And I think Kwangdong, again, also need this win very desperately.
All right, well, let's see who the POG is here for game number 2 for B&K FearX. And yes, it is Closer Valdez.
Yeah, not a very difficult guess. I mean, he did do like 40k damage in this game, and yeah, I mean, we immediately go to this highlight. I mean, he's just layering in damage perfectly. He's playing on the edge, and this fight could have maybe even just been done, but he essentially extends it by fooling Dudu. I love the vision toggle there as well, and he's just able to kite back with the help of his teammates and really just extend that lead even further.
Corki really is in its current form a champion of which we often say that the skill expression feels very muted and just not that engaging to watch. I thought this was, and this is a really big compliment to me, one of no, that's based. That's a good VN. That's way better than an AD carry vote. Like, I think it's fine. I think Clear had a really good game. I don't think it's that bad.
Valdez. I'm with Valdez.
Going back. Yeah, I don't know. That's fine, I guess.
You know, the key matchup right now has been between Rapta and Kuz with the Maokai here. What are they going to move to now if that gets banned away, do you think, here, Cronny?
I don't think they are going to. I think both teams are just going to leave it up, but it really does feel to me like that has been a crux pick. And make your draft as easy as possible. I think the easier draft won in both games, and that's what you got to do here as well. Try and get something front to back as
What is
straightforward as
happening
I
there?
have no idea.
I mean, he made Andil sit down and he's like, look at it, look at it. It's like the SpongeBob episode. I don't really know what exactly went wrong. Maybe they're talking about that thing in the jungle, which was a very big whoopsie, but could just also be a minor thing knowing CV Max, so it's kind of hard to know.
The thing in the jungle to me just looked like Leaper. It was a play that happened very quickly. Leaper tried to go help out his jungler and then just got caught in between the red buff, and it was a good catch there by Raptor. But I guess we'll see what happens here. Very, very important game. The stress is high, the stakes are high. So let's send it on over to the casters for the decisive game number 3.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And as you were talking, as we were sitting here, I noticed an elephant creep into the room.
Oh no.
And unfortunately, we need to address it because we saw this earlier on. The game score of Kwangdong Freaks, quite good. That has a lot to do with the fact that they're picking up a lot of 2-0s. Hi Prince, how you doing? But I'm going to stick to the point. A lot of the time, when Kwangdong Freaks lose a game, things like what we just witnessed happens, and Kwangdong Freaks don't necessarily keep themselves together moving into the follow-up game.
Yeah.
And that allows for a lot of losses that are 1-2 and a lot of wins that are 2-0. And this might be moving towards one of those losses. As B&K, they do move to the red side. Kwangdong Freaks, theoretically, with that first pick advantage, we've seen blue side be very strong. It's 50-50 in this series, though, as the Nidalee once again going to be banned away. Blue side a little bit more flexibility with these bans as Renekton and Vi taken off the board. Something is going to slip through.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is now B&K FearX kind of need to ban Rumble and Trist in
And
this
Renekton?
situation.
And Maokai?
Yeah, the Maokai first pick likely going to be one to come through for Kwangdong Freaks. Unless they just go, you know what, we'll leave Rumble open, which is a massive risk. Kennen banned as well away from Clear. I think Kwangdong Freaks really want to cement the fact you have to ban Rumble, but you have to give something up if you do.
The Aurora, the Maokai, there are lots of things that are going to be up and available. I think the Maokai ban makes some sense within this series, that will open the Aurora to go into the hands of either Bulldog or Dudu. We know that Bulldog has already played it, looked very good on the champion, but Dudu is thinking that maybe Rumble just that little bit too powerful right now, especially with Kennen banned away. Instead, it's just Aurora. And I think that this is the team that's been able to win on this champion. She's been played 3 times, and it was Bulldog that was able to come away with the victory. Clear is now able to head towards the Rumble himself.
I think Rumble Corki, we've seen in Bulldog's matchup against the Corki when he played Aurora, the laning phase was rough, even if he obviously had massive value in the team fight, so perhaps they just lock those in immediately. Kwangdong Freaks, be interesting to see what they bring out here for where they're gonna, if they're gonna cement where the Aurora is going. They could keep it open as a flex and pick like, you know, they could pick like the Sejuani in the jungle. They could also pick the Ezreal as kind of a denial. Looks like they're going to try and secure top, and they are going to put that Aurora into the mid lane. And we have seen this matchup be heavily Rumble favored in the laning phase, but we've seen the K'Sante come back hard in the team fights.
Yeah, we've actually seen a lot of just weathering of the storm from the K'Sante actually work, because a lot of the times K'Sante just kind of melted, wasn't actually able to do anything, and then the game was over. That was sort of what was happening prior, as Cuz considering on jumping on the Lilia hype train that we've seen sort of building up in speed here in the LCK, but instead, Ezreal priority pick here for the Kwangdong Freaks. Leaper now on screen, as you can see.
Yeah, I think this is massive as a denial, because we've talked about how Ezreal is fantastic into Aurora. Ezreal Corki, such a strong mid-AD duo to have, so denying that pretty massive away from them. And also, you know, if they did lock in the Lilia, you'd have AP mid, AP jungle, and a K'Sante in the top lane. Probably wouldn't feel too amazing about that. So I'll see them locking that Ezreal. And now it comes over to B&K FearX.
Ooh, this would be kind of cool.
Now for Raptor here, not something we've typically seen. Obviously, into a pick like the Ezreal, you want to maintain a healthy distance, and your damage is going to be mitigated there. But it's not a pick we've seen too much so far in summer, and not had too much success either.
The thing is, Audacious Charge and Wind Becomes Lightning kind of works in Ezreal. At least you get the follow-up slow, because if he Arcane shifts as you use that Audacious Charge in, it's pretty easy to land the Wind Becomes Lightning, so I guess follow-up does get a little bit more comfortable, but does have a lot of mitigation as well, and you can sort of spread out a lot of these fights. The Aurora goes in, tries to get a priority target. You can actually peel with the Crescent Guard. That's a possibility, as the Karma is going to be banned away from Andal. He had a great game 1 on that champion, and it was a very oppressive lane, as Lee Sin also taken from Cuz. I'm feeling a Viego game from Cuz. I don't know why. That's just in the back of my mind, as Ashe and Callista both taken away from Henna. See where he is going to go in this draft. There are a few picks that feel pretty risky that are up and available right now. Misfortune is at the forefront of my mind right now.
Typically you'd expect an AD carry in this situation, but the priority on Rakan has been so high, I think they might just deny it, yeah.
Yeah, not a bad move here, and Duro on it once again, picking up a win in the last game. This will be his 3rd game in a row on the champion. See what they're going to actually pair alongside it, as now we'll get the information as to what Andal is going to be playing and what Cuz is going to be bringing into that jungle as well. Whole bunch of picks still up and available.
That's a question for me. I think especially the Lee Sin ban, they may be thinking that he has to lean on something that is AD. Looks like it could just be that Viego you were alluding to, but they won't lock it in yet. They'll go the Nautilus again. Despite the loss, and despite the fact there's a lot of AoE on the side of BNK FairX, with that Corki, with that Rumble to really mangle him. And you don't even know what the enemy AD carry is yet. But it does mean you have that single target lockdown, and when you have a champion like Viego who gets the resets on the back of that, it is very powerful. But I wasn't really convinced by the Nautilus in last game. I think it's on a 9-loss streak now.
Yeah.
So
moving towards
to break that.
Yeah, moving towards 10, as there is the Viego that we were talking about before. Cuz, of course, loves this champion, was super famous on it when he was on KT, really having dominant performances. And we know that if Viego gets going, he can be a massive problem. And if you eliminate one target, which is exactly what Bulldog's task is going to be in this game, then things can become over very, very quickly. Henna obviously going to be locking away the Zeri if it isn't banned away, and it wasn't, and so he's locking it. Even into the Nautilus, he's not too worried, especially given the fact that it is now, once again, an Ezreal Nautilus lane. This time around, not a Misfortune, but still a similar idea. Not going to be something that they need to avoid quite as much as that Ezreal Karma.
I'm going to be honest, I feel like the Zin's out. Need to see what Raptor can do, and I'm not fully convinced by the pick, but the rest of their draft looks really solid. I think this is really going to be a test of what Bulldog can do in Aurora. We saw it in his previous game absolutely pop off, but hopefully people have learned a bit more about the champion since then. If it doesn't, I feel like the draft for Kwangdong Freaks is kind of lacking. You know, the Aurora has to carry so much weight, so much budget has been given to this pick. The Ezreal denial as well. That if, you know, Bulldog falls behind the lane and doesn't get those big ultimates, we could just see BNK FairX taking the series 2-1. Certainly that team fight once again looks devastating.
Yep, that's it. Get Aura, which kind of roughly translates to Dog Aurora, which is like Bulldog playing Aurora, I guess, was that one. I'm doing my best here. We'll see whether it is once again going to be him able to pick up a victory. He's the only one that's been able to do it so far in the LCK. Let's jump into the Rift for Game 3 of our Saturday Showdown. All right, BNK fans actually raising their voices here, challenging the might of the volume of Kwangdong Freaks here at LoL Park. And you can understand why this is feeling like it is for a large portion of the marbles in this one. Making it to playoffs gets so much easier if you can take down your direct competitor. This is the last one of those series that we are going to see until BNK faces off against T1 that is going to be coming up next week. Oh man, this is, we are really getting into crunch time.
And I think, you know, going into the series, it was a +1 game score for Kwangdong Freaks, a -4 for BNK FairX. BNK FairX need this win so much more, especially as Kwangdong Freaks still have a series against DRX to play. Kwangdong Freaks have the easier schedule, they have the higher game score. BNK FairX cannot afford to lose this series. There is so much pressure on them right now. And if they do, they're going to have to get some upsets against some even harder opponents.
And it is, like, miracles can happen. We saw that. KT demonstrated that. Nongshim also jumping on board immediately afterwards. It was a day of upsets. We'll see what today is going to be, because regardless of the result, we're not calling it an upset. These two teams are so incredibly evenly matched. We knew that moving into this one. I think it could have been a coin flip as far as what the prediction was going to be there. As Closer witnessing that Electrocute's pretty broken. As a hook going to connect here from Andil. Still playing aggressively here, but Henna with the burst fire able to offer a decent amount of damage back, especially with that Mystic Shot missing there, as we could see. Fleet footwork here from Henna keeping him healthy there as well. And 9 losses in a row as we update our graph. That one was an easy one to build because we already had the template from the previous game.
Yeah, they just added the Andal game. You know, Quantum's got one, Andal's got one, but clearly a lot of faith in it being able to deal with Henna. But again, you know, a lot of AoE threats that are going to really make the Nautilus feel so squishy, and he doesn't have the mobility of the Rakan. And also, you know, you can target 180 carry, not the other. So we'll see what Andal can do with this pick. Obviously started off pretty well in the last game, but did not finish so hot.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out. See where the early dives are going to be coming in once again. This time, a bit of a side switch and also a bit of a champion switch. Viego, not necessarily as known for his ability to really put pressure underneath his turrets and power from the jungle to the point where he can get there at like the 3-minute clip. Like, we're moving towards 3 minutes. He's still got 2 camps to go.
Yeah.
Zyra is ridiculous.
It is going to make the skirmishes explosive, though. You know, anyone misstepping, making a mistake, going down quickly, those resets start coming in, it becomes really hard to deal with. Particularly, you know, against a team with champions like Zinzao, Corki, and the Rakan. I feel like whenever you're possessing a champion with a dash in their kit, just makes it so much more possible to chain those resets together. And, you know, last time we saw this matchup, Bulldog got kind of blasted.
He did.
Maybe perhaps doing some practice, because he's faring a lot better right now.
Certainly faring better in the matchup. Going to see him try to put down some vision, perhaps, is what he was considering there, moving towards the jungle, as Kuz going to be able to take this one down very comfortably. Raptor getting that information. We'll be able to move towards the southern Rift Scuttler. As checking in on the priority pick here, and Clear in a little bit of trouble. He might have to flash pretty early on. Does have a decent health bar, but avoids the stun, and is now just going to try and cook Kuz on his way out.
Yeah, I like that he moved into the brush and flashed as late as possible so that Kuz couldn't follow it. But still, a big hit to lose that summoner, and especially into a Cassante. Being flashless feels so dangerous when he does hit a level 6 point.
And it does mean that the Cassante will be able to farm a lot more comfortably. We can see already Dudu doing a great job up here on the top side of the map, staying even with the Rumble. It's not something we often see. Rumbles really do like to pulverize this matchup. Not happening this time around just yet. BNK still with a slight gold advantage as far as just farm is concerned. Henna getting a bit of a shove here as well, as a hook is going to go entirely wide on the bottom side. Grand entrance onto 2 as Duro mitigates the aggression that was coming on through here. But most of this minion wave is getting thinned out as Kuz moving down towards the bottom side as well. The battle dance comes in. They get the idea. This is happening. Kuz going to be able to get rid of whatever vision was sitting there as Bulldog throws all of his abilities away. Kuz are going to be able to win out on that trade, although not massively. Kuz is moving in once again. Bulldog will be able to connect that one. Electrocute damage comes on through as Kuz does walk away with only a turret shot to his name.
Kuz are getting the fleet footwork, movement speed there just to disengage from the fight. You see Kuz trying to find angles in all 3 lanes so far. You can see bot lane, even though Juro got like, the nice knock-up onto Lipa, they kind of knew that Kuz was going to be down bot side, so they didn't even follow up on it, and it didn't. Oh, but now he's full.
Yeah, nice little hook there is going to connect. There's the knock-up onto Lipa, just try and mitigate some of that damage, but I think a lot of it had been done. And Closer once again, pressure is on. As Bulldog with control of the wave for now is behind by a little bit of farm, and you can see Closer just finding any angle he can to try and get in here onto Bulldog.
I'm just a bit concerned because we saw what Aurora could do from Bulldog when it was 100 farm down. It's not 100 farm down.
No, he definitely is not. As the back is coming on in, Ward goes down and is known here as Dudu. He wasn't shopping. He was actually looking to set up a fight as the equalizer goes through as well. Dudu could be in trouble. He dashes over the wall. And Clear not going to be following him this time around. Kuz gets information, and they do stop Dudu's back. That should mean that Grubs will go over here, as Bulldog not very high on the mana department, as this ward does come on in, and Duro and Henna They're moving down this mid lane. Should be able to guarantee B&K
Yeah, I love
these
when
grubs.
bot lanes do this. They just walk down mid and then make the decision later on, and they don't lose much time. Header's like, okay, I'm going towards bot lane. I'll be around if you need me, but I'm going to pick up the farm. But making sure they rotate in a way where if something did happen towards the grubs, they would be there. Now that they're posturing aggressively, the jungler isn't here. Yeah,
Duro is going to be out of grand exit. Henna's coming down as well. Bulldog dashing away from this one. That's an aggressive Valkyrie forward here from Closer. As into the mist goes Cuz, but Bulldog sort of left for the Wolves. Leaper moving up. And Raptor trying to get in position. The hook goes wide. So does the W Grand Entrance onto one. It's a good arcane shift to get out from Leaper. But this control of the Dragon area going over to B&K, despite the fact that they're the ones that managed to pick up the grubs. The flash forward from Andal. He sees Raptor, and he puts down the Crescent Guard. Bulldog puts him into a circle, but he's the one that built it first. The knock-up's gorgeous. Cuz goes down, and the Dragon is going to get distracted. Andal falls. It's a disaster. The Kwangdong Freaks are on the floor, and B&K are on the board.
And normally, you get grubs, they get dragon. That's how it goes. That's the trade. But B&K FearX are tired of trading. They want both, and they managed to take the fight around dragon. It feels like Kwangdong Freaks didn't expect it. The engage comes out on Raptor. Definitely not the target I think they should have gone for, and it ends up backfiring massively.
And this is what happens when Xin Zhao sort of slips under the radar for a little while. You think, oh, we're at a dragon fight, let's kill the jungler. You just don't kill Xin Zhao that easily.
Yep, and the fact he's level 6 here, you know, Henna and Juro are so mobile, so they don't want to try and go for those targets. They know Raptor's flashless, they go for the engage, but the ult is immediate.
Yeah.
They try to follow up, Bulldog goes down, and then Cuz is trying to get that reset. That's the point of having a Nautilus Diego. You kill a target, you get a reset. He doesn't get it, and the fight falls apart from there.
And Henna, a big benefactor of this one as well. You saw, like, you can even see now that the CS is so far in favor of Leaper, 20 to his name above the Zeri. But 1-0-1 now for Henna. We're not certifying it, but we're getting closer and closer to signing that paper. As B&K, just, that's a huge win for them. And I think that, honestly, like, that's made me a believer in the Xin Zhao pick.
Yeah.
Based on that. And I think something like that probably had to happen. But now B&K look like geniuses, because it did.
I mean, the Xin Zhao is going well. That was the one concern I had with the composition, is how it's going to fit in. It's doing well. The rest of the team have some decent gold leads. They've denied that Fierce Dragon. And I just love the fact that, you know, Raptor was still cleaning up the grubs, and the rest of the team were confident. They saw Leaper bot lane and like, look, we can force them off. You know, we're strong. We can actually do this. Often a lot of respect paid, you know, when there's a numbers advantage to the enemy team, but they saw an angle and they really punished it. And now Raptor already has the Sundered Sky.
Oh,
such a huge spike in these skirmishes as well, that healing based on missing HP. You know, you already saw him survive at a sliver of HP. He'll be a lot healthier than that going forwards. And now Kwangdong Freaks, they're wanting to start up this dragon, but Raptor is coming,
yeah,
and he is strong.
Full vision available here as well. He might not make it in time. This dragon is going down low, but when becomes lightning, should be able to get him in here. There's the quickness, and he steals away the dragon. The Heartbreaker comes in, but I think it's Kwangdong Freaks that are going to be heartbroken at the end of this one. It's another kill for Henna. Andal absolutely nowhere to go, as at least Leaper will escape, but that is now a Zeri on a killing spree, and I think that somewhere Wolf has his glasses on, and he's signing the bit of paper that's in front of him.
I just don't understand the decision from Kwangdong Freaks. You know there's vision there, you just had a fight there. Raptor, I don't think you can get on top of this, yeah, it's a bunny, he's gonna hop away.
Yeah,
but
hops through to a different dimension a little bit there.
Yeah, learned a lot about that yesterday, but I just don't understand the decision, because you know they're gonna have some vision there left over for when their fight was. That's a given. You spot some of the vision when you put the control ward down. You know they're aware you're doing the dragon. There's nowhere else for Raptor to be. Grubs aren't up yet. And they still commit to the fight. I think it was very naive from Kwangdong Freaks, but B&K FearX so quick to punish. And the fact that they secured the dragon in the 50-50 as well, massive here. You can see Juro making use of Demolish.
Yeah, really nicely done.
Closer.
Another 6 grub stack here as well from B&K, but the biggest difference is the fact that they also get the dragon.
Yep.
And this 3,000 gold in the lead. They took the 6 grubs in the last game, and they were behind the play, right? They had to make sacrifices in order to get that. True Shot Barrage not able to stop these backs.
And also both, I think it's so funny, both games so far, we saw Kwangdong Freaks get the first 2 dragons, and then it was a weaker soul. It's totally going to be like a Hex deck soul.
Oh yeah, 100%. Guaranteed.
Yeah, use the blast cone. I love the engage from Juro. They focus down Cuz first, so that reset potential of Viego is just not there. And then they're just so strong. You know, Raptor threatens the Ezreal, obviously can't catch, and they give the kill over to Henna, but there's no way when he has that Sunder Sky completed already, you're ever going to be able to deal with Raptor. And now, on the back of that, Henna has 3 kills. You were talking about certification. Someone should call Wolf.
Yeah, no, we have him on the line, and I think that he could probably let us know that that one is worthy. As Quantum Freak's not going to give up. Good sidestep on the stun there from Duro, but he's just going to turn it into their own engage. Andal is going to come out from the brush, though, and they do manage to possess him. Grand Entrance is decent as Cuz trying to get his way out. Raptor says, nah, buddy, you aren't going anywhere. As Bulldog is dancing around this circle, Dudu is teleported in, and he is gigantic. He's going to pick up 2 of them. And now Henna is just dashing for the hills. Raptor is still pretty huge. Bulldog not going to get hit by that equalizer. In fact, no one is at all. And this is jungler versus top lane, and Raptor kind of likes those odds. Clear is going to come in. He flashes to barbecue Dudu, and he's being silenced. That's going to give him that power as True Shot Barrage wanting to take down a control ward.
Super scrappy fight. And I feel like Quantum Freaks, you know, they don't manage to get the shutdowns on the pivotal members. I think that's the big disappointment for them. Raptor 305, Henna 303. If they'd been able to kill them, I think it would have been a different story, but it just feels like it's not necessarily enough. Claire going to take advantage of this window, get a plate as well. We'll see in the fight, you know, Juro kind of a little bit isolated here. You can see he turns on the Cuz, but the follow-up isn't immediate. And the engaged turnaround comes in, and this is why this fight felt very different, because Cuz does get that reset. But unfortunately, he doesn't get a second target low to turn onto Raptor. They just can't deal with him, you know, and Bulldog does a lot of damage to close, and the TP from Dudu comes in sooner. And I think, you know, there were some mistakes here from BNK FearX, which is why this fight didn't go so smoothly. But it still ends up panning out pretty well. Claire, unfortunately, not the best equalizer, otherwise they would have killed Bulldog. But does make up for it by just deciding to melt Dudu.
Yeah, and he can also follow up on that. Like we saw it before, was able to grab that plate that you can see in front of you. And he's continuing down here on this bottom side. He's extended that CS advantage. And there is the Rook Earn completed for Dudu. He has made it to that first item, which is pretty good in the matchup, but it's not good in this one, and Raptor is just huge. So Dudu gonna have to back away, and we're gonna need to find some armor items before, you know, Closer and Raptor can really be dealt with, not to mention the Zeri situation, sitting on 3-0-3 now. Duru just able to walk this one off. This guy's Rakan has been phenomenal. 7 out of the 8 kills. He has helped provide for his team at the same time. And 8 out of 8 is for Raptor. So I think, you know, POG-wise, I think we know where things are going.
He's doing pretty good so far.
Yeah.
You know, a pick like Xin Zhao, I feel like you can be, with the Sunder Sky completed so early, like you're so hard to kill even without your ult.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. Sometimes you get the Xin Zhao who's behind, and his ult just makes it so he doesn't get 1 shot, he gets like 2 shot, right? They get inside and finish you off. But here, you know, the ult just feels like the icing on the cake. They're gonna struggle to ever take him down. You can see in that last fight, they didn't even look at him. They were focusing everyone else. They knew how hard it was to deal with it. Like, let's kill everyone else and hopefully Raptor, you know, forgets to finish us off.
Yeah, something like that.
He's now on the Herald, and they are moving to try and combat this. Remember, Clay doesn't have TP. Bulldogs is up soon, but he's getting burnt right now.
Yeah, he does skip across the Veil, but unfortunately not going to be able to save him from a bunch of Harpoon damage as Raptor doesn't find the Wind Becomes Lightning, but Andor doesn't find the hook. There's the re-engage with the Audacious Charge. Great knockup does come on through as Dudu's trying to do his best, but it just does not work. And remember, he has full magic resist. The magic damage is here in the bottom lane.
And he just gets shredded. You know, he's even picked up Negatron Cloak as well. He's full MR, and he's not the one laning against the Rumble. I feel like this lane assignment ends up being a big flub for the side of Quantum Freaks. They don't have the Aurora there, and they kind of just sit there, watch them take the Herald, and then get engaged on. Quantum Freaks crumbling in this game 3.
They are falling apart before our very eyes as BNK, they are going to be able to take down this top lane out of turret. Some possession here of Shelly, who saves her health bar because it goes down just in the nick of time.
Quantum Freaks are going towards Dragon. They're just they're losing this might be, I mean, it's definitely 2 towers, but they might get a 3rd tower charge. On the back of this is pretty low. Maybe Dudu can stop it.
Yeah, Dudu should be able to deal with it
but
here.
Still, and that gold's going not only to Raptor, but Closer as well in the Corki. Sure, you got an Ocean Dragon. It is a Hextech, of course it is.
Oh god, yeah.
Of course it is. But it's not 2 dragons for
Cuz could be in a lot of trouble here. Heartbreaks. There is a circle put down by Bulldog, but who is trapped in where with who? As Closer comes on over and Bulldog absolutely nowhere to go. No options. They are able to split off because they want to kill Cuz as well. There's the flash forward. The grand entrance. Raptor looking for the win becomes lightning. He'll have to settle for Andal as a teleport is coming through. Dudu is going to turn up. But look, Raptor is able to just stand here and say, no, you can't engage onto me. I will kill you. And Henna is now in this fight. Dudu just has to try and get himself away. And some more cooldowns are there now. Decent Q3 going to come out from Dudu. But once again, Raptor is immortal. The win becomes lightning comes in. Leaper is just going to be a secondary effect to the battle that was happening.
And this feels like the most lore-accurate Xin Zhao we've ever seen. He stands there and says, welcome to the arena. He's ready to take anyone on. 5-0-6. Now with a 9,000 gold lead, this was a must-win series for BNK FearX. This game 3, they've come alive in it. I mean, the setup, and I just think Quantum Freaks, you can't contest this. They go for the engage with Andal, it misses. They do manage to stop Juro from getting onto the back line, but it doesn't matter. They'll just hit the front line, and look at the damage coming out in return from Leaper. He's doing nowhere near enough right now.
Yeah, I think even a coursing River would be pretty scared of Raptor at this point in time. And look at this, they get to just spread their resources as well. Like, Bulldog, he's going to be the target, but he's after this teleport from Closer, which is beautiful. Duro can split off and then meet up with Henna and Raptor, who are coming down to close this gap. And this proactive flash forward from Duro, which looked a bit silly because there wasn't really anyone there. Leaper gets a flash out of Henna on the top side, but Raptor is just so big it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's no answer. And you can see how these team fights are playing out. Quantum Freaks are trying to ignore the issue. They're like, we'll kill other people, get our Viega resets, deal with Raptor at the end of the fight. But he's doing so much work.
Raptor is dead, everyone. Knocked up. There's even an equalizer there that's going to be put down. Henna picks up his 5th kill of the game. A circle does come on in. Henna is just trying to stand his ground. He survives for so long because he's going to go down before he can reset. Bulldog is, he's running. He's trying to go across the veil, but I think he's going to join Sirius Black here.
Well, I feel like the only positive side for Quantum Freaks is at least Baron isn't up yet.
At least the game isn't going to be going for much longer.
Well, that's definitely true. 18 minutes, it's a... You know, we talked about how BNK FearX kept having these really close games where both teams fighting tooth and nail, the goal is completely even. We saw it in game 1, we saw it against D+. This is what happens if you can't match them pound for pound. You get blown out.
And Raptor is doing as much damage as a Rumble at this point in time on the Xin Zhao. This was beautifully done, setting up this catch. Really liked the camera work as well from Jonas Strong.
And you can see the value Bulldog gets here, the burst on a Henna. You can see, you know, they put a lot of weight into this Aurora pick, and if the game was an even state, it would be really valuable, but it's not. And they have no answer to just how fed some of the members are on BNK FearX, and what's started to happen now is obviously Raptor was super fed, but the gold has become spread. That's why the gold lead is so big, but everyone is fed on the side of BNK FearX. Everyone is super strong, so even if you do kill the Zeri, there's still so many members of the team who are just going to decimate you.
Yeah, we're seeing here as Dudu is going to come out of the Hex Gate.
I think
it's a dangerous one to take.
I think it's the only person who could have taken that Hex Gate and easily get killed.
Yeah, and everyone else is only allowed to if they are supervised by Dudu. And that is understandable. They're going to brute force their way towards this Baron pit because otherwise, BNK probably could have just taken it and won the game. This Baron is going to spawn. Duro sort of just walking at them. And Raptor has a flank angle. The equalizer in the choke point is gorgeous as Bulldog is trying to bounce around, but Henna is just going to kill him. The job is for Bulldog to murder the AD carry, but instead, Bulldog is just going to be wiped out. Only Dudu left standing, and I think BNK are done with this game.
With 6 grubs, Baron's up, but they don't care. They're just going to try and end the game now. Dudu, the only one alive, he's going to do his best to try and survive. There's no way against 5 you can save the game.
Nope, he's going to try and waste as much time as possible, but that is all that's going to be. As Andal has respawned, this Nexus turret is not long for the world, though. The grubs come down. Remember, there are 6 of those. The Void Mites really helping out here. Another minion wave comes in, and the Nexus is the next thing on the menu. FearX, they're not wasting any time. They are going to take down Quandong Freaks and get one step closer towards the playoffs.
And this series does so much to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're not out of the woods yet. They still need to do more. Picking up game wins, not even just series wins, will make a difference, but this has kept the hope alive. And more than anything, I really hope BNK Fear X make the playoffs because their series have been so fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And the growth of this team, they deserve to be in playoffs. If they're playing like this, absolutely. I feel like every member of the team has stepped up. And, you know, for me, a lot of people have talked about Juro, a lot of people have talked about Clear. They have been fantastic. But Raptor has really so solid for this lineup. And once again, popping off in this game 3 and a massive win. Quantum Freaks.
And Prince had a fan sign saying, I want revenge for 2022. We'll see whether he can get some of that, as that was a little bit of a dispatchment in the playoffs earlier on in that year. But still, I mean, BNK, there is so much promise to this team. We always knew that Closer was a great player, but didn't quite have the same tools around him. But you're seeing, like, Clear in his second year of the LCK coming on in. Duro, he arrived like last week, and he's already looking fantastic. And Raptor, you already mentioned, these are such young players with so much time ahead of them. This could be a team to watch out for moving further forward and also into these playoffs.
And it's so easy to be a fan of this roster because the way they play is so fun. The games are always exciting. It always delivers so heavily. For Quantum Freaks fans, it feels rough, but they're not out of playoffs. You know, like I said, they had a big game score advantage. They still have DRX to play, and there are 4 teams around that 7-8 win point. They are now the last team on 7 wins, the rest on 8. But there's still opportunity for them to make playoffs. There are a lot of spots available in that lower end, but obviously this loss, a bit of a hit towards their chances. And we see Raptor, you know, this was obviously that first fight where he survived in a sliver of HP. But he really made that advantage work, and I feel like, you know, it's just a sign of a great player when you get a little bit of gold, you get a little item advantage, and from then on out, the confidence he played with, he made the game about him. You know, we had a 5-0 Zeri at one point, and you'd be forgiven for not noticing because Xin Zhao just ran the rift.
He did. Like, and I think that was an unfortunate situation for the Quantum Freaks. I think without that early game moment, but the way BNK played around it, they never gave any avenue back in, and they continued just making every play they could possibly find around the map to make sure that this Xin Zhao was like that coursing river. You know, this guy was just a complete monster on the river.
Absolutely, you know, and we definitely see teams able to take an advantage like this and run away with it and completely take control of the game, but usually they're called Genji.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that BNK Fear X are showing this level of play, because we know they can go toe-to-toe in the team fights, but the skirmishing also been so good in this one. And just the way in which they pushed the advantage so fast in this one. And I love the team fights, you know. Header's kind of isolated in 1v2 and obviously strong enough to turn it around, but it feels like everyone's so capable of functioning independently and bringing it together in unison for the big moments.
And I feel like they're also so good at sacrificing one another just to make sure that they win the team fight. Because in that moment, if Bulldog had have just 3-shot the Zeri, they wouldn't have cared because they killed 4 people over the other side. And yeah, Bulldog's going to live, but he can't kill everyone that's left over. They understand that that's still going to win them the fight with the game plan that they had. Orchestrating these team fights is just really, really beautiful to watch from this team. And they're going to, like, they're really trying to push up the pace here, understanding that they just have to focus down the Nexus. Don't let any shenanigans happen. Oh, Duro, you can see, really, really psyched about that one. And look at these damage numbers. Raptor only 600 behind a Rumble.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And against Cuz, you know, I will say Cuz has been the shining light for Quantum Freaks, and he is a fantastic jungler in his own right. And going up against him was a big test for Raptor, especially looking towards playoffs. So to match up against a player like that and have such a dominant performance is great to see.
It was phenomenal. Incredible game by BNK. They're not into the playoffs yet, but this is such a big step forward for them, being able to take down their direct competitor. It is now time for us to throw it over to the space, though, to break down the series.
Thank you very much, guys. And it is BNK Fear X continuing on with their playoff lives now firmly in their grasp after the 2-1 victory against the Kwangdong Freaks. Welcome back to the space. It's your boy Digon alongside Chronicler and the Valdanalist to break it down. This last one was not close here, Cronny.
Yeah, this one kind of hurt, and I think that this is. We'll talk a lot about BNK because obviously they deserve a lot of the positive attention here today. But I think that this third game, especially after what we saw in between the two games, right, the amount of pressure that's being put on these players, this is a consistent issue that's been happening for Kwangdong. Not just, and it's why we warned you jokingly about the Kwangdong collapse, and we get to witness it here in real time as well, because this was so far beyond what was the level of play I think in the last two games. And Kwangdong isn't mathematically eliminated. They still have a decent amount of control over their own fate, right? They still face T1, they still face DRX, so like it's not done and dusted. But after this win, you can't imagine that the team is feeling great.
Yeah, absolutely. We can take a look at the draft as well, just to see what we were working with here. Obviously, Quantum Freaks did get the Aurora first pick once again, which does get another loss. Doesn't feel like a lot of these losses are specifically due to Aurora. It just feels like kind of the situation surrounding the picks and where it does come out. I feel like you are trading a lot. We did see the Maokai ban finally come out, which we were very happy with. We saw Rumble and Corki picked up, and then the Xin Zhao was really the key pick here because, we don't see it very often. Comes out here. We've had a lot of just tank junglers, and it turns out that Xin Zhao is very good at absorbing pressure as well.
So interesting to see that the Sejuani just makes it through. And I think that the Viego is a clear sign that Cuz wants to try. And I think the draft here, to me, makes sense. Like, I don't think... Obviously, top side is a bit of a rough situation. Bot lane doesn't synergize necessarily amazingly. You don't actually have that much pressure on Zeri and Rakan. But this is... Once you get to mid-game, and especially with mid-Aurora as opposed to top Aurora, like 4v4 bot side skirmishes, find target, kill target. It's a classic Viego comp. And Cuz is one of our best Viegos, which makes the eventual results all the more harrowing.
And I think BNK knew that, as the cast called out. A lot of the time, if you take Grubs or take the top side objective, you'll trade Drake. So in our first highlight here at the Dragon, BNK DRX says, no, we want everything, and Kwangdong Freaks weren't ready.
Yeah, so the thing about this fight is that, there's a lot of poke going both ways, but we already have one of the guys backing here, and then it's just a very forced hard engage onto Xin Zhao. And I feel like this is a bit of that pressure coming out that we get to see, right? I mean, Bulldog is like, what? We're fighting? What's going on? He flashes in, just dies immediately. And this is Xin Zhao who presses R and is like, I mean, you were never going to kill me anyway.
And even there, if Leaper, like, flash autos onto Xin and Cuz takes it over, like, that... The fight was that close. That might have been the difference maker. And then this is where you see the decision-making just completely out of whack. Trying to contest or sneak away a dragon that you knew, they were very aware that it was happening. And it ends up being a complete blowout. And from that point on, I feel like Kwangdong were just very clearly not able to find their way back into the game. And BNK, also to their credit, they win fast. And you really saw how much they like to push their leads in these scenarios.
Yeah, they really, tasted blood in the water in this case, and they pushed the pedal to the metal, were able to close it on out. Let's take a look at our last highlight here. Up on the top side of the map again, Kwangdong Freaks still trying to find ways to skirmish, and they were scrapping just on the losing side of it for how far behind they were.
Yeah, you could say, Degon, they grabbed the bull by the horns in this one, and just just trying to continue with the phrases. It's just, again, just a little bit of desperation from the side of Quantum Freaks, and they get caught out. And like Chronicler said before, I mean, the game was essentially over after the first couple of highlights we showed, and at this point, it's kind of just Quantum Freaks floundering, and BNK, to their credit, you give them an inch, they are going to run at you and try to kill you as much as possible, which they did in this fight.
It is just a great thing to be able to talk about with BNK in this roster kind of coming together, and it reminds me of some of the magic that they had back in 2022, right? When the Kyle and Croco combo slowly became a bigger and bigger deal. And we've, coming into the day, talked a lot about Claire. In general, we've talked a lot about Duro and what his presence has meant for this roster. But as Ox was saying, even to a certain extent in game 1, but especially in game number 2, like it was all about Raptor, right? The Xin Zhao pickup requires you, like the Viego does, because that is a very snowbody matchup either way, to really get a lead and then extend it from there, and my God, did he do it.
All right, well, let's make it more than just a formality. Let's see who the POG is here for the decisive game number 3, and it is the man of the jungle. Raptor has come on in at the beginning of this split, won our hearts, gets his 6th POG of the split.
Yeah, and, you know, he started off kind of just getting engaged on and doing the right thing on Xinjiao, but for this one, the game just became about how fed Raptor was, and he used his lead excellently because every time there was a fight, he just put his face into it immediately, knowing that he was basically unkillable.
Just want to highlight as well for the people that don't know it, Raptor, you know where he first started to gain some momentum? As the jungler on Breon. Bro challengers. As we are also learning ever since we have had Saturday Showdown. Apparently,
Nice
Liv Sandbox / Fox / BNK, the only team to never lose them, which is crazy because obviously often you will have teams that are of relative strength, but must have meant over that long a period that they've also punched up a good amount of times, and I think it's why people love this roster. It's the ability to, when everything clicks, really punch above their weight.
Yeah, it's part of dealing with the pressure of being on the Saturday Showdown. The spotlight's on you. It's a very important match. In this specific case, being KDF with their playoff lives on, same thing with Kwangdong Freaks, they stayed cool. It was almost like they embodied their leadership.
It's like they are cool kids.
That never panicked.
That never panic, no matter the situation,
Huh.
Degon. Who could have thought? Would have known.
Not me.
We can get the math going for you in just a little bit.
Degon's like, what are you guys
contention.
talking
I get
about?
it. It's the nickname. It's the old nickname of that. I got it. The OGs of
But
the
then why did you laugh? We were hilarious.
So funny, yeah.
I've been listening to you guys the whole time. You guys don't hear us when the game's on and we're here in the
Doesn't
space.
think we're funny.
Time to stop hearing from us right now. It's time for the interview with someone who is way funnier and way more smarter than us. It's Ji-sun. Ji-sun, take it away with the translations.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun for the POG interview translation, and we are here joined by a closer and Raptor on the side of BNK Fear X. BNK Fear X secured a victory and increased their playoffs chances. Let's hear from the POG winners. So you just defeated a rival team competing for the same playoff spot. How do you feel about the win today? Today was a very, very, very important match. I couldn't even get sleep yesterday. I am so relieved that we managed to get a win. What about you, Raptor? Yeah, for the playoffs, you know, today was a very important day for us, and I'm so happy and relieved that we won. Closer, the match was highly anticipated due to both teams' strong recent performance, and the head-to-head record was pretty tight. How were you able to secure a win today? I think, you know, our team started to play even better as we head into round 2. Exactly like you mentioned, this match marks your 5th win in the second round. Your performance has been on a steep upward trajectory, so why do you think that triggered this much of an improvement? Pretty much because of our, you know, hard work, and also our teamwork has become a lot more smoother. In the first 2 games, we saw Yone quirky matchup in mid, and you get to play both sides of it. Tell us about the mid lane matchup. I think it's a 50-50 matchup, to be honest. You know, it depends on, you know, the players' confidence and their proficiency on the picks. So I'm pretty confident on both sides. And Corky, in fact, won all 3 games today. Is Corky currently the top mid lane champion? I think so, because Corky right now, his laning phase is really strong, and also his late game value is also very strong, so he's pretty strong right now. And then in the most important 3rd game, you left Aurora open, and Raptor, you played Xinjiao, who hadn't appeared in the current patch so far. Xinjiao is always one of my, you know, strong picks. I'm always very confident, and I thought, you know, getting that AD champion in the jungle role will round out our comp really well. And that pick turned out to be the most important kind of factor in that game. So let's take a look at this replay. You actually survived after all of those engages. So I was like, if they tried to jump on top of me, I was gonna go in for a fight, but I was not expecting myself to walk away alive like that, but I guess I got a little lucky. I also think he got very lucky over there. And today we had Prince in the audience and also your ambassador, Sona, you, a streamer in Korea, also came to support you. And Prince also told me he thinks the chances of us winning will be 63%. So he actually doesn't sugarcoat usually, so I believed in him and I think we were able to get a win just like he said. So I want to say thank you to Prince. And we also have a very interesting record of BNK FearX. You guys have never lost a single match in the Saturday Showdown matchup, and you guys are the only LCK team to make it happen. How do you guys always perform so well under so much pressure? Because Saturday Showdown is always, you know, the important match, and we get to work even harder. And I guess our hard work and effort, you know, pays off. Yeah, most of the Saturday Showdowns are very important, so we get to focus up and prepare harder. Please give it up for the BNK FearX players with their amazing victory today. So previous to today's series, your chances of making it into the playoffs are 48%, but now it has jumped up to 74%. Your next matches are up against Hana Life and T1. What are your resolutions as you aim 100% playoffs qualification? I want to say our team has been ramping up, so I hope we can stay strong and be confident up against the stronger teams as well. Indeed, you know, our momentum is unstoppable right now, so I don't want us to get scared because we are going up against the stronger teams. I know that we're going to do a great job. And this will be the end of the interview from Raptor Closer on BNK FearX, and back to the space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun. As you see the standings, this is how important it was. Those teams flip-flop positions, which means BNK FearX are currently in playoffs, and Kwangdong Freaks are on the outside looking in.
Again, game score is weirdly enough still pretty good for Kwangdong, given that they're still ahead of both KT, even after the win, and BNK after the win, but after that last game, it's gotta be scary. They gotta win basically all their next games.
Yeah, game 3 is pretty telling, and they've got T1 next, Quantum Freaks next week, so gonna be a pretty interesting matchup with both those teams kind of in a rocky place.
Yeah, especially after T1 take on Bro, which will happen tomorrow. But today we have Hanwha Life Esports against DRX and an episode of replay for you in between. Don't go anywhere. One more series to go here on Saturday.
진한장 킹티비티로 몸도 마음도 하나가 된 듯한 은퇴양난. 하지만 정규 경기까지 남은 시간은 단 8일. 스크림을 아무리 늘려도 부족할 거고 라인전 체급을 단기간에 올리긴 좀 어렵지. 메타픽을 뒤늦게 쫓아가는 것도 좀 별로인 것 같은데 이거 결단이 필요한 시점이다. 자자 은퇴양난 전원 집합. 자, 우리가 오랜만에 여기 합숙소에 왔습니다.
와, 너무 오랜만이다. 너무 행복해.
아니 근데 내가 일단 궁금한 게 양난이가
살아있네요?
너무
다른 애 아니야?
아니야 우리 그 이름표 있었던 애 그대로야. 하늘이 죽으란 법은 없다고 얘기해주는 게 아닐까.
원래 이 친구랑 한 달 살지 않아요? 한 달 살지 않아요? 없어도?
그래? 잘 몰라. 사실 친구에 관해서는 잘 모르는데 또 우리가 저번에 한번 다 같이 1박 2일로 갔다 오기도 했고 하나가 됐다라고 생각할 수 있겠지?
액티비티 통해서 돈독해지기.
이제 결과적으로 연습은 해야 될 거 아니야. 경기를 앞두고. 그래서 하루 종일 오프라인 스크린.
너무 좋아. 너무 좋아. 완전 프로 최고. 프로 때 스케줄이잖아요.
그치.
최고.
일단 근데 저희가 프로 시절에 항상 다들 그냥 합숙을 하면서 스크림을 진행을 했었고 피드백 당시에도 게임 내적인 것뿐만이 아니라 외적인 부분 뭐 서로의 감정 상태라든지 느끼고 있는 그런 마음을 확실하게 표출하기 위해서는 아무래도 오프라인이 편할 거라고 생각을 했고요. 그래서 저희가 오프라인 스크림을 요청을 드렸고 또 감사하게도 네, 자리를 마련해 주셔서 하게 됐습니다. 참 그냥 또 연습하면 안 되잖아. 우리가 이왕이면 하는 거 좀 사전에 좀 얘기를 어느 정도 서로 하고 들어가는 게 좋을 것 같아서 일단 첫 번째는 과연 대회 메타를 따라가는 게 맞는 걸까? 어찌됐건 저번에 우리가 대회를 할 때는 프로들 간의 라인전 상성 구도에 대해서 우리가 맞춰가는 느낌이었는데 쟤네는 365일 그 메타로 게임하는 애들이고 우리는 사실상 연습 시간이 좀 부족했잖아. 그들이랑 똑같은 조건에서 게임을 하는 게 맞는 걸까에 대한 고민을 해서 차라리 우리의 장기를 살리는 게 어떨까?
너무 좋습니다. 좋습니다.
좋습니다. 좋습니다.
그러면 너희가 이제 솔랭을 하면서 좀 느낀 게 있을 거냐? 이거를 해보니까 솔랭에서 잘 풀리더라. 오늘 연습 때 좀 해보고 싶다. 이런 카드들이 하나씩 있어.
이거 전략 유출 아닌가요? 그러게요.
대회 전에 안 나가. 어차피
대회 전에 안 나와요?
안 나가죠.
유출인데요?
안 나가. 시간적으로 안 나가. 전략 유출이 될 수가 없어.
저는 요즘 솔랭에서 제이스랑 캐넨을 하는데 좋은 것 같습니다.
제이스 캐넨.
정글은 이제 리신 빼고 솔랭에서도 안 되더라고요. 근데 뭐 리신이 메타챔은 아니니까.
맞아.
아니지.
그냥 메타챔 세주고 마오. 세주고 마오. 하이.
비에고도 빼고.
비에고는 좀 2경기 하고 싶어요. 1경기
우리 저번에도 2경기 했잖아.
이번엔 큰 사건이 있어.
오케이.
저는 일단 탈리아랑 막 미드 막 루시안 같은 거 나오잖아요. 그러면 제가 항상 그냥 빅토르 하거든요. 미드 그냥 콩콩이 들고.
너무 좋아.
그래서 빅토르랑 그때 썼던 르블랑 요즘 미드 제리를 하고 있는데 생각보다 잘 맞아요.
미드 뭐?
미드 제리.
제리.
네, 생각보다 괜찮아요. 그래서 제리도 조금 연습을 해보고 싶다.
오케이.
스크림 때.
오케이.
하찮은데 뭐 저는 그냥 딸깍챔.
미포, 애쉬, 직스.
미포는 진짜 미포는 모르겠어요. 미포를 언제 쓸 수 있을지 잘 모르겠어요. 그냥 딸깍챔 하는 게 마음이 편하긴 하지. 이제 없이 하는 느낌.
이제 없이.
직스도 딸깍이죠.
직스 딸깍. 직스도 편하지.
서포터는?
이제 없는 그런 라인전?
서포터는 이제 브라운.
저거부터 브라운 무슨
솔랭에서 쓰는 거 보니까 레오나, 브라운, 라칸
라칸도
세 개더라고요.
너무 좋은데 라칸. 근데 내가 또 느낀 건데 우리가 스크림 성적을 내가 좀 추적을 해봤어. 부탁도 드렸고 데이터를 좀 달라고 얘기를 해서 챔프 승률을 봤을 때 스크림 내용이 뭐 레넥톤 3승 1패, 승리가 있었던 챔피언 뭐 트페, 갱플랭크, 아트로스, 뭐 럼블, 제이스도 있고 전체적으로 약간 차이는 있겠지만 확실히 주도권을 잡고 흔들 때 승률이 좀 좋은 편이다 탑이. 그래서 오늘 얘기했던 제이스 캐넨 말이 된다. 오늘 좀 탑에서 주도권 있는 픽을 좀 더 연습을 해보자. 비교시 되는 것 같고 정글 쪽에서도 뭐 얘기한 바이도 4승 2패, 마오카이 2승 1패, 진짜 5일승도 있고.
거의 승률 좋은데?
거의 좋은데?
좋은데?
의외로 비에고도 2승 1패야.
좋은데?
조금 마음이 아픈 건 세주아리가 0승 4패인데 이거는 근데 난 어느 정도는 이전 메타가 AP 정글들이 너무 셌던 시절이라 상대적으로 세주가 어려웠었는데 반에 이제는 좀 괜찮아지긴 했잖아. 그래서 다시 한 번 더 연습해보는 거 괜찮다. 그리고 나는 혹시 가능하다면 또 이거 피넛이랑도 같이 해봤잖아. 빠삐 한번 해보는 거 어떨까?
이게 이제 스크린 때 맛보기로 좀 해보고 제일 전에 결정을 하시죠.
좋아. 그리고 이제 미드 쪽은 확실히 탈리아가 좋다. 탈리아가 4승 0패.
멋진 느낌이에요 요즘.
원데이 쪽은 카이사가 4승, 칼리스타 3승.
칼리 왜 이렇게 많이 이겼어?
좀 약간 라인전 강하게 가는 챔프 구성이 좀 더 메리트가 있고 카이사 같은 경우에 캐리력이 보장됐을 때 종이도 그 능력 보여주는 편이고 되게 다양하게 그냥 연습을 해보면 될 것 같아 원딜은. 난 오히려 서포터한테 좀 포커싱을 하고 싶어. 내가 또 써놨는데 바텀 라인전을 좀 강하게 갈 수 있는 구성. 그러니까 결국에 라인전을 엄청 고려하기에는 대회에서 막 리턴 값이 크진 않은데 그래도 바텀은 유리한 게 이제 메타상으로도 좀 많이 이득이 보는 것 같아서 레오나를 가능하다면 좀 더 적극 기용하는 게 낫지 않을까.
저도 좋은 것 같아요. 레오나.
챔프 자체가 워낙에 라인전 세고 레는 혹시
레도 좀 했는데 승률이
자신 있게 해.
또 저는 할 만한 것 같은데 승률이 이상하게 안 나와서
그래? 그러니까 한 번만 해보고
해보면 될 것 같아요.
그래. 그래서 오늘 전체적으로 내가 얘기했던 그런 그림들 바텀 라인도 좀 세게 나갈 수 있는 챔프 구성 한번 연습해보고 이제 메타를 따라가기보단 우리가 잘하고 우리가 좋아하는 챔피언 위주로 좀 더 연습. 그리고 이제 챌린저스 리그 특징 던지는 경향이 있지 유리할 때 본인들이 그거 잘 받아먹을 수 있게 이니시 챔프도 최대한 갖출 수 있는 쪽으로 이거 거의 고정시켜서 우리 연습 들어가서 해보고 뱅카드를 어떻게 쓸지에 대해서 살짝 토론하고 끝내면 될 것 같아.
오케이.
오늘 연습에 대해서 쭉 이해됐지?
네.
이런 그림으로 딱 2시니까 들어가 보자고.
좋습니다. 고할게요.
자, 잘해봅시다. 이거 라인 가면은 얘네 수업하면 위험해서 그냥
어이씨 깜짝이야. 수업이네. 그러니까 이것도 조심해야 되긴 하는데 이게 수업이어가지고 와드 하러 가려고 그랬더니 우리를 찾아다니는 중 나도. 일단 바텀은 없어요. 바텀 끌리요. 밀자 우리도.
네.
갈게요.
얘는 필수 없어.
얘네 일단 집탄 잡고 그냥 바텀 오는 것 같은데? 맞다. 집탄 잡다가 다시 바텀으로. 아랫바에게는 근데 형 얘네 턴 먼저여가지고 먹힐 수도 있긴 하겠다.
그냥 정글 위주로.
레벨도 없어. 잠시만요.
그냥 아래로 가. 살고 싶어.
잘 가라. 둘 다 개피야.
자야 노스펠 되고
피 빼놓게 계속. 얘 노플이고.
자야세도 노스펠.
여기 다 피부가 많이 빼놨어.
그래프 한번.
나 일단 한번 뺄게.
나 한번 살려줄 수 있어.
잡아.
노스펠.
알겠어. 이거 꼬리 왼쪽에 손서 꼬리 왼쪽에 손서. 봤어요.
나힐 한번 되긴 하는데 뺐어. 버릴게.
버릴 생각.
근데 있었으면은 시간 오래 끌긴 했겠다.
이거 이용해서 그냥 바텀 계속 압박해야겠다.
오케이. 밑에 쪽에 와드를 잘 모르겠거든요. 근데 노칠이 위쪽에서 와가지고 위에는 더 와드일 거야 지금.
여기 20개 있다.
보인 것 같은데.
뺄게.
나 이런 데까지는 와드 돼 있을 듯?
레나타 오면은 좀 불편해.
네, 해도 돼요? 나 천천히 붙어줄게. 여기까지 오고. 오케이.
나 보이긴 했다.
나 다시 탑으로 갈 거고. 여기 와드야 참고로. 세주 땅굴을 생각 안 했어.
내가 라인을 못 던졌거든.
아니, 내가 천천히 했어야 돼.
할만한데? 나 그래.
노틸 노플이야.
다이아한테 노서.
오케이, 잡았거든. 잡아.
나이스.
세주부터 봐야 돼.
나 죽어.
그냥 죽고 그냥 억제기 밀고 그냥 끝인데?
노틸 나왔어요. 빼면서 이거 어디를 테리거든?
노틸 이거 땡기겠다. 나는 상관없긴 하거든?
노틸 풀어놨어 이제.
저는 뺄게요.
갔네?
여기까지인데 빼야 될 듯?
괜히 한 번 더 했네? 일단.
까비.
까비.
모여서 같이 보자.
오랜만이다 이런 느낌. 엄청 좋은데 이거?
오프라인이 또 다르지 느낌이.
와 지금 느낌이 너무 시원한데 이거?
라인 수업 이후에 보니까 확실히 서로 라인이 지랄 맞게 되거든. 쟤네든 우리든 한쪽은 무조건 라인이 맞아. 그러니까 예를 들어서 럼블 같은 경우 이제 밀고 나가야 되는데 정글은 아래 턴이라 사실상 뭐 그냥 오면 진짜 망하는 순간이고, 반대로 얘기하면 얘네도 밀고 나오는 라인인데 정글이 우리가 아래잖아. 우리도 이용할 생각을 하는 것도 괜찮을 것 같아. 내가 보기엔 럼블이 망해도 우리도 똑같이 망하게 하는 패턴을 만드는 게 맞아. 우리가 풀어줄 생각을 하던, 뭐 예를 들어서 이쪽이 유리하니까 지금 이런 상황에서 나 이거 탑 라인 안 좋아 이거 풀어줄래가 돼서 예를 들어서 레나타가 뒤로 붙어서 도와주던.
수업을 본격적으로 한 적이 없어가지고.
그렇지, 이제 배워가는 거지. 그러니까 우리가 더 쟤네보다 부족할 수 있긴 한데 난 너네 그 경험을 무시 못한다고 생각해서 그걸 인지만 다음에 하면 더 좋은 결과값을 도출할 수 있을 것 같은데 생각에. 9분 때 한번 이거는 와드가 얘네가 설치를 해놨어가지고 여기서 우리가 콜은 잘 됐거든? 서해이가 아마 그 얘기를 했을 거야. 노티를 한번 들락날락해서 와드는 다 있을 거야 얘기가 됐잖아. 그럼 이제 여기까지 어떻게 고려를 해야 되냐면 지금 사실 여기에 와드가 보이고 있었어. 그래서 이걸 당연히 지우면 좋은데 이거는 뭐 항상 우리가 지울 수 있는 건 아니니까 다음에는 한번 신경 쓰는데, 여기서 중요한 게 콜이 우리 보이고 있다, 쟤네 뭐 설계할 수 있어 이런 얘기는 해야 될 것 같아. 우리 시야에 보일 수 있어, 보이고 있다 이 정도 얘기를 하면 이제 너네가 자연스럽게 바텀이 신경을 써서 조심해야 되나? 얘네 상대 정글 위치가 안 보이는데 설계할 수 있다고? 땅굴에 있을 수 있나? 이런 고려를 아마 자연스럽게 될 것 같거든. 얘기가 보이고 있다 이 얘기 너네끼리 한 번씩 나누면 더 좋을 것 같아. 우리 보일 수
저기
있다.
와드 진짜 많이 하긴 하더라고요.
여기
맞아.
저기 진짜.
웬만하면 다 졌다고요.
이거 뭐 신경 써서 다음에는 한 번씩 지워주고, 결국 모든 거는 시야의 바탕으로 설계가 되는 거라 우리가 보이고 있다라는 건 상대가 설계할 수 있다까지 너네가 대화를 해야 돼. 오 좋았어. 근데 이제 중간부터
우리가 아직 어디까지 해야 될지 잘 모르는 것 같아.
근데 나는 그냥 그런 생각이야. 어디까지 해야 될지 모르는 거보다 심적으로 내 생각에 하위권 팀들이 지금 많이 발생하는
신나서
건데
좀 더 하는 거.
유리할 때 거의 다 잡았다는 그 마음에 좀 약간 집중력이 살짝 흐트러져서 약간 산만한 거 알지? 약간 산만해지는 거. 이거 우리 이긴 거 같은데 라는 생각이 드는 순간 실수가 한 번씩 꼭 나오거든? 이런 것도 사실 그런 거에 들어가 있고, 나는 이거는 그냥 단순해. 내가 보면 막 어렵게 막 우리가 이때는 빠졌어야 됐다, 이때는 어떻게 했어야 돼, 이게 아니라 단순하게 너네가 중후반부터 유리해지고 다 이긴 거 같으면 서로 그런 얘기 좀 해야 될 것 같아. 집중하자. 야 우리 이거 거의 다 왔는데 실수하지 말자. 집중하자라는 이야기들이 오고 가면 자연스럽게 용 시간도 되고 상대 설계에 대해서 의식도 하고 우리가 뭘 앞으로 해야 될지도 소통을 할 것 같거든. 단순하게 난 그 얘기만 서로 좀 했으면 좋겠어.
살짝 신나는 거랑 집중만 하면 돼.
바텀에서 너무 신났다. 끝난 게임이었는데. 살려줄게. 다 죽었구나 우리.
살짝 성장차기 때문에.
그러네.
고춧가루 있어요.
근본 있는 중국 집이다 이건데.
대회 보면서.
여기 동빈이 형 있네요?
와, 간당간당하네.
뭐지?
종민이가 죽어 있는데요? 종민이가 죽어 있는데요?
뭐야 이게?
안녕하세요. DRX 챌린저스 팀입니다.
저희 DRX 챌린저스 팀은 1분 경험을 겪어온 친구들이 미드 원딜에 또 있고, 얼라이브 선수가 이번에 플레인 코치로 이제 선수까지 같이 하면서 강력한 팀이 되었는데 아마 라인전 쉽지 않을 거라고 예상이 됩니다.
네,
안녕하세요. DRX 챌린저스 원딜을 맡고 있는 하덕 박석현입니다.
일단 리치 선수랑 프레이 선수에 대해서 솔레노 랭크에서 좀 많이 만나가지고 두 분은 굉장히 잘하신다라고 알고 있는데 나머지 세 분은 이제 안 만난 지 좀 오래됐었거든요.
우리 둘만 만났다는 거야.
나머지 선수 이제 이름만 아는 정도.
이름이라도 알아주네.
옛날에 애쉬 신궁 장면을 많이 봐가지고 프레이 선수가 그때부터 이름을 알았던 것 같은데 요즘 또 애쉬 빼면은 잘하시나 잘해서 첫 경기 봤을 때 이제 스코어 선수가 니달리를 했었거든요. 이 찍고 칼부를 먹고 돌거북을 먹는 시점에 좀 그거 보고 바로 껐습니다.
한 마리까지는 괜찮은데 두 마리도 수가 좀 크다고 생각하고 있습니다. 안녕하세요. DRX 챌린저스에서 정글 맡고 있는 제피를 황혁수입니다. 저는 15살.
아니 2007년.
안녕하세요. DRX 챌린저스에서 맡고 있는 레이서 유경주라고 합니다. 타분이 생각보다 라인전 체급이 살짝
미안해.
리치 선수 체급이 많이 아쉬워지셨던 것 같은데 제가 닦도록 하겠습니다.
무서운데? 닦아버리겠다는데?
DRX 챌린저스에서 서폿을 맡고 있는 베르 이준민이라고 합니다. 좀 수동적인 서폿이다. 각을 잘 못 보시는 것 같고 요새 탱커포 메타인데 이니시챔 들고 그렇게 수성적으로 하시면은 계속 답답할 거니까 저희가 빨리 2대 0으로 끝내드리겠습니다.
사이
너무 많이
빠졌는데?
사실 우리가 같은 세대라 좀 그렇더라. 나도 게임할 때 요즘 눈이 좀 침침해서 CS가 잘 안 먹어지고 딜 교환도 안 되고 둘 다 하고 싶은데 둘 중에 하나만 해야 되는 그런 상황이더라고. 그리고 요즘 챔피언들도 우리 때랑 디테일이 너무 달라서 쉽지 않더라. 게임 템포도 빠르고 뭔가 트래시 토크를 하고 싶은데 힘내. 한번 힘내봐.
아니 얼마나 걱정이 안 되면 파이팅 이러고 있어.
감동받았는데?
힘내서 이겨야지.
마지막 살짝 감동이었어.
역시 F인가?
이제 하루 종일 하자고 했는데.
이상.
아시죠? 고할게요. 출발이요. 굿바이 굿나잇.
사기 스킨 껴야겠다. 안 되겠다. 악에 물든 제이스 갈게요.
근데 리드 1차 밀린 시점에서 좀 많이 빡세지긴 했다.
뭔가 데이터는 많이 쌓는 느낌인데 한 판은 이기고 싶긴 하네.
마지막 판 이기면 또 승자긴 해.
아리 공 빼는 식으로 해도 돼.
방어 끊겼다.
유신 한번.
아리까지? 아리 공까지? 뒤에 캐는. 오케이. 여기까지 할게 그러면은.
뒤에 봐줘야겠다.
근데 나 어차피 캐넨한테 안 죽거든? 여기 캐넨 다 주지. 공 하나 쏠게.
스물더 노스펠. 나 죽었다.
나 이거 어차피 캐넨한테 안 죽기는 해. 스몰더한테 죽을지도?
괜찮은가? 너무 빼야 되나?
빼야 돼. 안 좋아.
이상하게 뺐나?
근데 여기서도 그냥 리신 자르고 그냥 바람 갔으면은 되긴 했겠다. 더 하려다. 마음이 좀 아프긴 하다. 근데 이거 진 거는 게임이.
잘했다 말았다.
이게 그냥 브레이크가 없어. 미친 돌직맨이야 우리.
아니 머리를 너무 안 쓰는데 너무 내빼고 한다. 그게 너무 아쉽다. 우리가 그래도 유리할 때 좀 서로 침착하게 하자고 얘기하기로 했는데 또 그런 느낌이야. 이겼다고 생각하니까 약간 또 시작하는 느낌?
사실상 그럼 이겼다는 거네?
오늘 사실상 다 이기긴 했는데 근데 진짜로 이거는 좀 심각하게 받아야 될 것 같아. 얘들아. 왜냐면 이렇게 지는 거는 아무리 우리가 챌린저스 애들이랑 하지만 마치 챌린저스 애들이 된 느낌이야. 이런 게임은 이겼어야지. 너네가 잘해서 역전하고 있고 완전 잘한 게임인데 아쉽네. 근데 오늘 스크림으로 그냥 내가 알아갔으면 좋겠는 거는 할만하다. 우리 실수로 우리가 질 정도면 우리 손에서 게임을 좌지우지할 수 있는 거잖아. 그냥 난 이미 그것만으로도 만족이긴 하거든. 그리고 얘네가 스타일 자체가 내가 말했지만 T1이랑 비슷해서 라인전에서 폭파하는 스타일로 플레이하는 애들이거든. 근데 얘네 상대로 우리가 라인전도 막 구조적으로 막 안 털리기도 했고 오히려 리드하는 경우도 많았고 많이 폼이 올라온 것 같아.
근데 진짜 진심으로 너무 할만한데? 아니 나 오늘 하면서 상대가 왜 이렇게 할만해졌지?
그러니까 많이 안 해봤어.
그런가?
저번에
그러니까 근데 이군이랑 하니까 근데 이군이랑 계속 하는데 이군이랑 너무 할만한데?
8일 남았어 8일. 진짜 열심히 좀 해서 진지하게 해봅시다. 고생 많았습니다.
희망을 많이 얻어봤어요. 그러면
파이팅. 좀 가장 큰 이유는 저희가 막 좀 스크림을 해도 이길 뻔한 경기는 많지만 이긴 판들이 좀 적다 보니까 좀 조급해하는 부분이 가장 큰 것 같아요. 제가 일단은 기본적으로 좀 중심을 더 지켜야 좀 잘 굴러갈 것 같아요. 이제 목줄을 딱 잡고 그만! 이 정도는 해줘야 좀 안 던지지 않을까요?
어찌 보면 이 스크림하면서 피드백을 받고 그런 연습 과정이 팀 연습다운 팀 연습을 한 것 같아서
저는 6대0 당하긴 했는데 저는 되게 도움 많이 됐다고 생각하긴 하거든요. 제가 이제 POX 이군한테 지고 저도 좀 이군한테 힘든가 이런 생각했는데 막상 이제 이군들이랑 좀 연습 조금 하면서 물론 승률은 잘 안 나오긴 하지만 우리 되게 할만하구나.
체급에서 밀려서 진 게 아니라 다 저희가 잘하다가 던져서 지거나 아니면 좀 한타적인 부분이나 운영적인 부분으로 진 거라서 물론 전패해서 화나긴 하지만 엄청 아쉽진 않다? 그런 느낌이었어요. 약간 빛을 봤다?
가스라이팅이 성공. 근데 아예 없는 소리는 아니긴 해요. 레전드의 장점 중에 하나가 또 아무래도 무대 경험이잖아요. 네, 큰 무대라고도 볼 수 있는 이번 무대에서 챌린저스 선수들보다 좀 더 높은 집중력과 좀 더 그 열정을 보일 수만 있으면 저도 충분히 승산이 있다 생각하고요. 사실 뭐 저희가 지금 이미 꿈을 꾸고 있는 거 아니겠습니까? 이 프로그램 자체가.
솔직히 형들한테 내색은 안 했는데 좀 긴장되고요. 롤파크에서 경기하는 것도 경기하는 건데 저만 좀 현역을 하는 선수니까 또 무조건 잘해야 된다는 마인드가 커가지고 좀 긴장이 많이 되는 것 같아요.
사실 좀 기대라기보다 무섭네요. 좀 잘못하면 어떡하지? 약간 그런 걱정이 들긴 하는데 그래도 이겨보겠습니다. 화이팅!
저희 근데 진짜 열심히 준비하고 있고요. 뭐 불안해하지 않으셔도 좋습니다. 이미 나도 불안해하고 있는 것 같긴 한데 일단 남은 다른 사람 모르겠어. 근데 나는 되게 열심히 하고 있다는 거. 저는 열심히 해가지고 진짜 저는 롤파크에서 하는 마지막 경기일 수도 있다고 생각하거든요. 그래서 선수일 때 약간 기억 살짝 떠올려가지고 임하도록 하겠습니다.
연습과 실전은 다릅니다. 실전으로 보여드릴게요. 예. 믿어주세요. 이겨보겠습니다. 파이팅!
야요.
루시안 노플이긴 해요.
그럼 불로 뺄게요.
세나 노플?
바비.
이거 깨주셨어? 나이스. 왜 이렇게 힘들지? 많이 유리한 것 같은데.
전체적으로 조심할 걸 먼저 좀 조심해야 될 듯?
그 지민아.
네.
일부러 Q를 나중에 쓰는 이유가 있어 혹시? WR부터 쓰고 Q풀 쓰는 Q를 쓰는 이유가 있어 혹시? 대회 보면 레일들 다 Q풀 받긴 하거든. 너가 Q풀을 박아. 네가 WR로 추가 진입을 하거나 진입각이 안 나오면 W로 도망 나올 수가 있거든. 선택지가 2개가 되거든. 그래서 한번 그거를 솔로 랭크부터 해가지고 한번 연습을 해봐. 네.
나 왔어? 그냥 시작해.
얘네도 애초에 밀 생각 안 하는 거지. 바텀 많이 살이고 얘네. 잘 가라.
홀딩 살짝만.
시안 한번 뚫었다.
네, 맞아.
한 들어가긴 하겠다.
너무 좋다.
폭탄 걸기 높고.
야 미드 걸린다.
아 괜찮아.
일단 괜찮은 것 같긴 하거든.
아 이번에 들어갈게. 들어갈 수 있으면.
나도 봐줄게.
징크
괜찮은데? 너무 이쁜데?
오 나이스.
끝낼만한데?
끝났어.
맞다.
제일 잘하는데?
아이 좀 쉬노 이거. 뭐고 이거.
우리 이 정도 골드 차이에 이 정도면 너무 잘한 것 같은데? 오케이, 잘했습니다.
오 뭐야 길었었는데. 얘도 나 잘못
굿.
빼야 돼 위에 럼블
빼면 돼. 어우 야.
저희 그래도 5분 컷 안 났습니다.
아 좋아.
한판 이겼잖아.
아 이길만 했어. 얘들아 이제 진짜 끝났다. 여기 경기 끝나면 한동안 쉬니까
바로 남았다.
고생 좀 합시다.
수고하셨습니다.
잘 주무셔.
내일 이깁시다.